Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Welcome to the Ultimate Sports Show. It's Wednesday, and we just learned that G. Bush took a deep dive into the dog world cult. And I don't mean like dog ownership. I mean dog shows, dog training.
Dog.
Those people are weird.
That people like
They're different.
That whole world is a different joint. It's like there's the dog breeders, and then you have the people who train for dog shows.
Right.
And then you have people who train the dogs, like canine dogs for police. Then you have regular guard dogs, right, that people are training. And the level of passion that they got for these dogs and what they do is like, don't tell them folks, like, there's two people. Ken told me something. There's one group of people, which you said was true. Ken said there's two groups of people that you do not talk about. Don't say anything bad about them.
Bicycle?
Yes, bicyclists and people who love their pets.
Absolutely.
Like if you want to really
Shedeur Sanders people are now in that group too.
Come after Shedeur, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, but if you're talking about like animals, those are people's family members, bro.
Yeah, I'm a pet owner and I
Right.
love dogs. But I don't think anybody would ever have to ask me, blink 3 times if you need help.
Right.
When I watch the dog shows, I'm like, some of these people look like they could be doing this beyond their will.
Oh no, these guys
Like, they're just in it. And there's money in it too. By the
the
breeding
ones that
especially.
look like their dogs. There are people
I've seen that. There's a webpage dedicated to dogs who look like their owners.
Man, then there's a guy got in a cult where it was this little dog. His name is on YouTube. His name is King George, and he's like a little. I don't know what he is. He looks like, but he's in a dog kennel in like China, right?
Yeah.
And he's the pack leader of this whole entire.
Oh, I've seen that.
And he's
the big dogs bow down to him, right?
He pulls up and they just, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I've seen that
Have you
video.
seen him?
It is mind-blowing.
And
he's the smallest little dog, and all the other dogs can be doing their thing, and there is an alpha among the other dogs, but when this dog prances in, they all kowtow to him instantly.
Bow down instantly. And then he checks their temperature. Hold on, what you doing today? You
Yeah.
good? I didn't say you eat yet. You good?
Damn.
And I'm like, what type of, I said, I need that. Whatever he got.
Yeah,
man,
he's got the chemical.
He got it.
They walk in and they bow right down to him.
Check
goes
it
down
out.
some
It's on
crazy roads,
Instagram and
G. Bush.
TikTok. Yeah, listen,
crazy.
the algorithm.
By the way, things will get contentious later, especially when we talk about quarterbacks. So to keep it light and loose right now, some entertainment updates for you. Landman is disappointing in season 2. So
I've
Really?
read the reviews. The season 2
Here's my problem with
number
season
went
2.
way down.
It's too much about the relationship.
That's exactly what I read. It's that all the fans are saying, I care less about the family goings on. You know what I think? So here's the way I'm on like episode 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Love. It's fantastic.
Yeah, first season was great.
I said early on, I'm like, it's kind of like an X-rated Dallas.
Yeah, kind of.
If you're old enough to remember the show Dallas.
Yeah.
But everything I'm reading about season 2 is they're spending less time around the oil industry drama and too much time around the family, which to me I would not be interested
in. And even though the wife and the daughter are gorgeous, they're like idiots and they're annoying.
And they make bad decision after bad decision. I told my wife after episode 5, they misnamed this show. It should be called Land of Bad Decisions.
Yeah.
Every decision those two make is like, it's wrong.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Terrible. I'm sorry to hear that you don't like season 2, but I've read the reviews and the numbers
I'm still watching it. Mayor of Kingstown has had a nice bounce back in season 4, but 2 movies I saw in the last few days that I really liked. One, which I didn't think I'd have any interest in, but it was good, called F1, the Brad Pitt movie.
Oh, no, I have seen that trailer. It looks good.
Brad Pitt and the guy, because I know you watched the show too, the main character from Snowfall?
Yeah. What's his name?
He's British, that guy.
I didn't. You know what? It was so messed up.
You didn't know he was British.
It messes you up.
Yeah.
Him and Idris Elba always mess me up when they just start talking regular. I'm like, I thought you was they're just British.
But and Javier,
great at it.
Javier Bardem is in it.
What is his name,
What
man?
is that guy?
What is his name?
Is it Damson Idris?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
That's an interest. So that's
So
really
it's good. You saw it.
Very good.
Okay.
And then,
the trailer looked great.
And then I saw a movie, and I didn't realize this was based on a true story until the end, called Roof Man.
Wow.
Which I
Not to
liked.
be confused with Landman.
Yeah, right.
So that's a story about the roofing industry, apparently.
no, he's a thief. I'll just say that. The
Okay.
Roof Man is a thief. And he ends up, I don't want to give too much away, but the main
Good?
guy,
You like?
it was really good. Yeah.
It's a 2-hour drama, or is it a series?
It's a drama. Yeah.
I did see that Landman was renewed for season 3.
Yes.
How do you like Sam Elliott in Landman?
Sam Elliott's great. No matter
yeah,
what.
when I saw that they cast him for season 2, I'm like, how was he not in season 1?
Yeah,
he's cut for that.
Right, exactly.
Just
he
like
plays
Billy Bob is.
Billy Bob's dad.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah. So you can see the similarities in their deliveries and their personalities.
Very much so, yeah.
I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it
I'm
with less
sticking with it,
enthusiasm, though.
but I'm not as excited about season 2, and I love season 1.
That's a shame. Hopefully they listen to the critics and they get a little more bite in season 3 and make it about,
Sometimes, there's ebbs and, just like there's ebbs and flows with quarterbacks and teams, this could be ebbs
100%.
and flows of shows as well.
This could be a down season.
It's a little hit or miss, though. Like, sometimes you don't know what season's going to hit. Sometimes you can come out and be like, yo, we thought this premise was going to hit for this season.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't. And then you kind of go back to the drawing board and say, okay.
Start again.
Let's figure out what was magic about the first season.
Remember The Sopranos had that season where Tony was in a coma, and that was like
the bad season.
It was the worst season.
Nobody liked it. Nobody liked
the show
it.
was one of the best shows ever.
Yeah.
But that season
you're
was
due
terrible.
a clunker. You're due a clunker. Yeah. Even
Very
Josh Allen has had a bad season.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay, I'll give you that.
He's had a bad season.
As a rookie.
We'll get to that in a little bit, I promise.
We're going to. Stand by
for
fireworks.
I send a text out every morning to people who want to get daily text from UCSS. It gives
Do
a
you
little
really?
preview of the show, yeah.
That's cool.
And today's text
How many people
was
were on that list?
About 400.
Nice.
That's pretty good.
400.
And the text was, if you like Jay versus Bull shows,
Pull up.
You'll enjoy today.
What time is that? That's I
About
think that's
12:10.
like
We'll get to 12:10.
12:10.
I also want to shout out real quick.
There it
at the
is.
Gym this morning.
Get it
my
ready.
AirPods
Wow.
died at the gym this morning. That's a catastrophe.
Well, I've got
But I met
numbers
my
for
guy,
I got
this
numbers
dude named
too.
Bryce.
A lot of them.
Said what's up, big fan of the show. So just want to give Bryce a shout
Shout out
So,
to Bryce.
What's up,
there we
Bryce?
go. All right, let's
Thanks
dive
for
into our
watching.
first topic, though, guys. It's brought to us by a Home Builders Association. Gift big this year with a Home for the Holidays raffle. You have a chance to win a beautiful new custom home or a cash prize this holiday season, and help make wishes come true for Make-A-Wish kids with critical illnesses. Raffle proceeds benefit Make-A-Wish OKI, which has granted over 22,000 wishes to children facing critical illnesses across Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana since 1983. This year's house is a custom-built ranch by Petros Homes, has 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and a 3-car garage. Just visit homefortheholidays.org to buy your tickets. The winner is announced on December 24th. Tickets cost $100. That's homefortheholidays.org. Terms and conditions apply. All right, guys, we're going to start with the Browns' offensive line. On Sunday, while watching the game, my eyes said, wow, this offensive line is abysmal. Jay, on Monday's show, you said it's
I thought the same thing.
basically impossible to evaluate any part of this offense because the offensive line has been so putrid. You tagged me in a tweet this morning, which I wish we could show, but we can't show footage of Cam Robinson blocking nobody and spinning around like a top. The eye test said the Browns' offensive line.
I had a beef with that tweet, by the way.
Well, let's hear it now.
What did the person write in that tweet? Do you have it?
I can't show it.
Didn't we both get? No, you don't have to show it. But can you read it? Didn't they tag me too, and you also?
No. This is the tweet that G tagged me in was, watch this and tell me with a straight face that a quarterback is what the Browns need in the draft. I don't know what you're talking about.
It was a single play of
Yes.
Cam
I
I guess
Robinson.
my
It was a singular
my
play.
beef in
Put
that
through the
would
washing
be
machine?
G wrote that or somebody else wrote
Somebody
that?
else wrote
Somebody
that.
wrote
that
it.
G
Yeah, he
tweeted
wrote it
at
to me, and then I sent it to me.
Yeah, that's invalid. I would immediately ignore that.
Why? Because it's just one play.
One play.
Yeah, that's what
You
I think too.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. You can show us if a player has a 5 home run game, but bats 6 times. You could pick his strikeout and show that and say, what the heck was Mark McGuire doing?
Yeah, right.
So the one play is a snapshot.
Yes.
I prefer the bigger sample size, which is the full game, which is the number you're talking about.
We're
Which
going to look at a bunch of numbers.
Let's get to
and
it.
once again, I want to preface this all with
Let's get to it.
watching. My eye test said they played like dog poop.
I agree.
The
I
numbers
think everybody agreed.
tell a different story.
I was shocked by the number.
And I'm going to send you guys a bunch of numbers, and then we'll go back and parse out. But let me run through all of these real
love
quick,
this.
and then we can dive into it. But against Chicago, Shedeur was pressured on 20 of his 42 dropbacks. That's a 48% pressure rate. Chicago, entering that game, ranked 31st in the NFL with just a 24% pressure
So
rate.
they doubled their pressure rate.
On the season, Shedeur's been pressured on 46% of his dropbacks. That's the highest pressure rate for any quarterback in a minimum of 4 starts since Deshaun Watson in 2018.
Now, can I ask a question?
Shoot.
The definition of under pressure. Some can say quarterback tapped, quarterback hit, quarterback sacked. Others would say they're bringing an extra blocker. They're bringing an extra rusher. So what is their definition of under pressure?
And this is the culmination of PFF and ESPN. We're going to get to some ESPN stats in a second.
Because I think that gets kind of confusing.
It is when a
Because
quarterback...
blitz is more than 4.
Well, we're going to talk about quick pressures and not quick pressures in a second. That's coming. But a pressure and/or a win is when the defensive lineman beats the offensive lineman in less than 2.5 seconds. A pass block win is when the offensive lineman blocks, for lack of a
Holds
better
up
term.
for 2.5.
Holds up for more than 2.5 seconds.
Okay.
So in Chicago, 20 of his 42 dropbacks, he was pressured. 48%. Chicago came into the game much less. Steve, let's go to the next one. Teams are pressuring Shedeur without blitzing. He has that 46% pressure rate through these 4 games, but he's only faced blitzes on 13.7% of his dropbacks. That's the lowest rate in the NFL. So they're getting pressure without bringing extra
Might
rushers.
that be why they're not blitzing? They don't need to.
They don't need to.
They're getting
exactly.
home with 4.
Let's go to the next one, Steve. As you continue to see, against Chicago, and now we're getting specifics, the Browns' offensive line had a 70% pass block win rate. Once again, that means holding a block for at least 2.5 seconds. It is the 4th highest pass block win rate for the Browns' offensive line this season. For comparison's sake, Pittsburgh ranks 4th in the NFL this season in overall pass block win rate. Their overall offensive line pass block win rate is 70.4%. So the Browns against Chicago, this is just the Chicago game, had an offensive line pass block win rate that was considered top 5
Elite.
in the NFL.
You'd have to call it elite.
Yeah.
If not elite, very good. At a minimum, very good.
Top 5 to me is elite.
Elite, then we could put it in that category. So
Can you
against
break-
Chicago, a
Mike,
70% pass block win rate. Compare that to Pittsburgh for the season, 70.4, which ranks 4th in the NFL.
Yeah.
Is that broken down by player?
Yes, and we're going to get to the players
Okay.
individually. That is coming. All right, Steve, let's get to the next one. We talk about quick pressures versus long pressures, right? Of those 20 pressures against Chicago, 19 were normal. They took longer than 2.5 seconds to generate. Only one of those 20 pressures against Chicago was considered a quick pressure, which is where the pressure came in less than 2.5 seconds. 19 of the 20, normal pressure rates. Only one of the 20 was considered a quick pressure. Next one, Steve. Wow. This is the time to throw. Just a stat that gives everything. This is just from Week 15. Shedeur Sanders ranked 3rd in the NFL with the 3rd longest time to throw. Tua was 1st, Drake May 2nd, Shedeur 3rd, Mahomes 4th, Lamar Jackson
By the way,
5th.
did you guys see Tua's benched?
Tua was benched. Quinn Ewers will start next week. Since he took over as the starter, Shedeur has the longest time to throw of any quarterback in football. We'll get to that in a sec. Steve,
Wait,
next
repeat
one.
that.
Since he took over, it's on another graphic
Okay,
coming up in a
okay.
sec. Next one, Steve. These are the pass block grades from PFF for Chicago. This was just the Chicago game. 6 offensive linemen had over 20 pass block snaps because Jenkins got hurt. Dellinger came in. Batonio, his highest pass block PFF grade of the season. Whippler, small sample size, his highest pass block win rate of the season. Leviston, his highest pass block PFF grade of the season. Dellinger, Robinson, and Jenkins, 73.3, 66.8 for Robinson. Tevin Jenkins, a 62.5. This next one's for the full season. This takes not just Shedeur, this is the entire season.
Okay.
Ben Baldwin, the computer cowboy, does the composite. ESPN,
He's good.
PFF, True Media. This shows true pass block sets. I know it's a small graphic.
Yeah.
The Browns ranked 29th out of 32 teams. Steve, if you want to take this one full so everyone can see it a little better, in the overall average of true pass block grades. Now, we know the Browns' offensive line is bad. You're going to see how that compares in the next graphic as of recent. But look at the 2 teams right below the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
The Rams,
Shocking.
the Cowboys,
2 of the better
Lions are at
offenses.
26, the Texans are at 25, the Bucs are at
Chargers.
24.
That's crazy.
The Chargers are in there. So you see some teams who are able to actually throw the football and have relative success in the passing
Particularly
game,
the Rams.
despite the fact that their offensive line isn't of the elite of the elite. And look at the teams at the top of the list. The Eagles, they've struggled in the passing game this year, despite having the number 1 ranked offensive line and true pass set grades this season. The Colts have been up and down. The Vikings have been up and down. Michael Penix and Kirk Cousins up and down in Atlanta. The Giants' passing game's abysmal.
So it doesn't necessarily equate to
No.
offensive success based on how much time you're giving your quarterback to throw.
Exactly. And then the last one.
The Falcons and Vikings have been up and down. They've been terrible, and the Colts have been terrible for about 6 weeks.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Last graphic, and then we'll let to kind of parse out if the eye test matches what we see. This is just since week 12, since Shedeur took over as the starter. The Browns have the 4th highest graded pass block win rate of any offensive line in football. He's faced 17 quick pressures in those 4 games. That's tied for 11th most in the NFL. He's faced 14 unblocked pressures, which is tied with Cam Ward for 1st in the NFL.
Yeah, that's bad.
And of all his throws, 27% of Shedeur's passes in his 4 starts have come out in less than 2.5 seconds. So quick passes, only 27%. That is the lowest rate in football, not just in the last 4 games, but over the entire season.
Wow.
So that's what the numbers say.
Right.
The eye test and the numbers tell 2 very different stories. And G, I want to start with you on this one because you tagged us in the tweet, and I know you're disgusted by what you've seen from the offensive line. You know the numbers now. You've seen it with your eyes, and I know you watched the tape back. Where do you fall on the actual play of this offensive line in the last 4 weeks?
So here's 2 things. So the first thing is when you look at those numbers, you also have to also take into consideration what is the defense trying to do to you, right? What is the game plan when you're playing the Cleveland Browns? And as a defender and as a defense, if you can get pressure with 4 people and you can still stop the run with 4 people in the light box, then you will be almost a team that you can't move the football. So if I'm playing the Cleveland Browns and I understand that the Cleveland Browns cannot run the football and I can still stop the run with 5 guys in light boxes, that gives you the opportunity that you can drop 7 defenders in coverage. And when you're watching the Cleveland Browns, when you drop 7 guys into coverage and you have those guys back there, the goal isn't to give Shedeur Sanders easy reads. The one thing that Shedeur Sanders has done a really good job of during his time with the Browns is something that no other quarterback has done, and that's throw the ball deep. He's shown the propensity that if you give him a one-on-one look, if you give him some of those shot plays, he will throw that. So those are some of his best plays that he's making. So as a defense, you're saying, okay, well, look, we don't want to give him that. Here's why we're going to play this. We're going to play coverage, and what we're going to do is we're going to make the Cleveland Browns matriculate the football the entire way down the field. That means every single time he drops back, we don't need to pressure him and give him answers. Let's drop in the coverage, make him diagnose if it's cover 1, cover 2, cover 3, cover 6, whatever the case may be, cloud coverage, and make him make consistent throws down the field and find the right answer. Their bet is that the Cleveland Browns will do one of 2 things. Either he will not be able to diagnose that play in, play out to move and find answers to move the chains, or the Cleveland Browns will do something that puts them behind schedule, a la either a penalty, holding, or a tackle for a loss. So the goal is they don't really care if you're like, oh, well, he has a lot of time to throw. The biggest second thing is when you talk about offensive line play is your run game has to be married with your pass game. So your run game has to marry with the way you're throwing the ball. Now, if you got this time to throw and he's holding the football, you got to have receivers that can get open in that time frame. It does you no good to have a bunch of time in the pocket and nobody's open. When you go back and watch the All-22, the thing I've always been standing and jumping up and pounding the table is, and multiple people have said this. Chase Daniel has talked about this. Other guys that break down the tape. The Cleveland Browns, when you watch what they do, are very vanilla. They're very rudimentary in the way they go about having their route combinations. And a lot of times I notice, especially in this game and the last game, there are times where the route combinations that they're running people are all over those. Regular digs and, regular comeback routes and maybe a few over routes. There's very few times where they're using alignment, they're using get off release, creative formations that give those guys free releases and quick answers to the test. Everything that they're doing is very rudimentary. So when you're doing that and you're not stressing the defense, you have to be able to stress them somewhere. And if you can't run the ball, that's not a stressor. If you can't stretch the field with your top receivers because they can't get open in one man-to-man coverage, that's not a stressor. So what you end up having is 7 guys in coverage, the quarterback looking for guys, and eventually that clock running out, and he's either going to have to check it down short of the sticks or throw the ball away. So the numbers may look great, but in reality, that as a defensive coordinator, if I'm playing the Cleveland Browns, is exactly what I want. And notice, the times he struggled is finding where the dropper is. The interception he threw against the Raiders, he got fooled by a defensive end, dropping in the covers. That wasn't a blitz. The interception this week that just happened with the Bears. They ran a play action. The robber jumped the route underneath the route. So those are the things I want to do with a rookie quarterback. Sometimes blitzing them and pressuring them don't really give you the intended results that you want. So I'm really not even really surprised by those numbers specifically because they're coming with 4 people.
Mike, I'm just the first graphic. I'm confused by the first thing you put up there, because most of these graphics make the offensive line look better than we thought they were, but that first graphic didn't. Were you just telling the whole picture, some of it good, some of it bad, or am I misunderstanding the first graphic you put up?
Put up the first one again.
This was the first one.
So a 48% pressure rate is bad. Like, they're giving up too much pressure, right?
Yes, and once again, this is for us to decipher what is good and what is bad. Of those 20, only 1 was a quick pressure.
Right, but okay, I get what you're saying.
I feel like I know where you're going, Bull, and I'm with you on something. I'm putting 2 numbers together. Sometimes 2 plus 2 doesn't equal 4.
No, you're doing something different. Go ahead.
Yeah, what I'm looking at is their pressure rate, and I'm also looking at their blitz rate. Their blitz rate is low. Correct?
He's been blitzed the fewest of any quarterback in the last 4 weeks.
Therefore, I would expect the line to be able to give him more time to throw. You're only holding off 4 guys and you've got 5. Sometimes 6 and sometimes 7.
Right.
So what I'm doing is I'm taking 2 numbers and getting a different story.
Yeah.
If you look at some of these numbers, I was ready to apologize to the offensive line. I literally was like, whoa, I missed it. But I'm putting 2 numbers together. If you're blitzing at the lowest rate in the NFL, which that's what the opponents are doing to the Browns, I would expect the Browns to have the highest win rate in the NFL. It's easier to stop 4 guys with 6 than it is to stop 6 guys or 7 guys.
That is a fact.
With 6.
That's true.
That's why I would say these numbers
that's a good point.
Tend to be leading us down the wrong road.
Well, I mean, I think. Listen, first of all, I'd also like to know what are the individual player pass rush win rates?
Yeah.
Because if one guy...
Well, we saw those, but you know what I'd like to know?
No, we didn't, because those were PFF grades. It's a little
and that is very subjective.
Because I'll get the ones I have those.
I'd like to know the following. When all teams are blitzed, then what's the win rate, and where do the Browns rank? Because now you're apples and apples.
I think it's fair to say that the Browns' offensive line played a little better than we thought.
That's fair.
Well, they didn't. Well, still saying, they didn't play that well, because you gotta look at the numbers deeper.
Yeah. So here's what I would extrapolate from that.
As we thought.
What I would extrapolate from that is when the quarterback has more time to throw, you would expect better results. Mm-hmm. Right.
Right.
What is surprising to me though is that the opponents are getting home so effectively with 4.
Right.
To G's point, if you can drop 7, we don't have 7 targets.
Right, that's true.
So if you can drop 7 and get home with 4 and still give him that, because when you parse it out, when you look at what his time to throw was versus what the number 10 ranked quarterback in time to throw was, it's not that much difference.
I guess the real number I'd like to know, and I don't even know, Mike certainly can't do this immediately, is where does their pass rush win rate compare to other teams when there's no blitz?
Yeah, I don't have.
I'd like to see it when there is a blitz.
Well, either way.
Either way will be telling.
Yes.
But and again, anecdotally and just with my eyes, I would imagine that if you could get a number of offensive line pass win rate versus the blitz, I would expect the Browns would be way down that list.
Yeah, and
way down.
I also think that when it comes to the offensive line, like I'd rather have 5 solid linemen than have 3 great ones and 2 that are terrible.
Yeah. You don't want a weak link on that chain.
Right, and so maybe 3 of the guys are doing well at blocking, maybe, this week, right? It looked like the whole offensive line stunk, but maybe that was just because 2 were so bad that it made the whole line stink.
When you watch, I think the thing that we kind of, it's dangerous to parse this too. And take the quarterback out of it. I know people say, "Oh, you're making an excuse for Shedeur." No,
well, Shedeur doesn't get a pass for the game. He was terrible. He don't get a pass.
We've already established.
Yeah.
So what we're saying is this: we talk about specifically offensive line play.
Yeah.
If you can't separate the pass block from the run block, because if you cannot run the football, if you cannot run the football,
you're not going to pass it either.
You're not
And G, to your point, real quick. The Browns had their 4th highest pass block win rate. They had their 2nd lowest run block win rate.
I believe that.
Against Chicago.
And, that's why the old adage is you got to establish the run. Once Chicago realized, they got no run.
No.
We've got that run blocked up. Now, good luck passing.
And what the disturbing part is, look, and Mary Kay said that, Joel is playing well. Joel had a decent game blocking pass block wise. But Joe Bitonio, God bless his soul. God, listen. I loved what he gave to the organization. But when you watch these all 22, he don't have it no more, guys. He just don't have it.
Well, I would agree with you. He's lost his step. I'm surprised his pass win rate was 81, or his block win rate was 81%.
Where he can play, what Joe's best trait is he would maul people. Joe was a power, physical. Like when Joe Bitonio was running, when they were running the power plays and running those in between the guards, the thing that made the Cleveland Browns the Browns were Joe Bitonio would be able to road grade the first guy, and then he would be out onto the linebacker, climbing to the next level, and then you got 5-6 yards. Him and Wyatt Teller both did that well. Joe just does not have the power in his base anymore due to his back injuries and some of the other injuries he's had. And you will watch on film where he's supposed to be hitting linebackers. He's getting stood up by linebackers and guys he got stood up on a screenplay by a safety. It's just the fact that he just doesn't have his legs anymore. He doesn't have that power. He tends to play a little bit higher. And so they just, when you look at it, they don't move. They don't displace people very well. Even in the pass game, right? They're very passive. The blocks, they get knocked in the backfield. And the thing that the Browns can't have is if you got a rookie quarterback and you can stop the run with 4 guys or 5 and light boxes,
you're going to win.
Then you guys don't even, and they say, well, why don't we run play action? How would play action work? How does play action work if there's no threat of run?
None, because the safeties aren't sneaking up because they know that the first wave has it.
That's it. We can stop with that, and then from there, I'm definitely going. I would never give the Cleveland Browns a quick answer. And a quick answer is, cover 0, let me throw the ball out here. Remember, the Raiders game, the 2 big plays that got them beat, right, the Raiders. The one play was the Isaiah Bond, where they blitzed him, and the other one was a quick screen to Dylan Sampson when they were blitzing. That went.
Yep.
Team said, oh, no, we're not going to give you that. Here's what we're going to do. You move the ball 3-5 yards down the field at a time, and we guarantee you won't make the right answer because you'll do something to mess it up, punt it.
Yeah. Well, I know one person that can help with this conversation is on the line, and we're ready to go with Leroy, right?
Let's bring in Leroy. If someone knows about bad offensive lines, it is one Leroy Hoard. We're going to get to him after a quick word from Rocket Money. Ever feel like your money just disappears each month? It happens fast. A few subscriptions here, an impulse buy there, and suddenly the numbers in your bank account don't match the numbers in your head. Rocket Money helps you get clarity, track every dollar, and stay in control of your finances because managing money shouldn't feel like a second job. Rocket Money does the heavy lifting so you don't have to, and you can save more, stress less, take control of your finances, and cancel your unwanted subscriptions with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. rocketmoney.com/lockedon. What's up, Leroy?
What's happening?
Leroy, I was talking with Herm Edwards the other day, and he was trash talking you, man.
Really?
Nah, I'm just messing.
I doubt it.
I'm just messing around. He actually spoke very highly of you.
You know what's crazy? I played hard. I never got in any fights. I never, talked a whole bunch of trash, and I got along with everybody, which is weird. Like, usually a guy that hurts people or plays physical doesn't necessarily get along with everybody, but I did.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you blame the offensive line, Leroy, for the struggles of the running game? Is it all the offensive line here? What do you see?
Yeah, here's the hardest thing for all of us to do as fans and to do as players and as organizations. We make assumptions that the good we had last year is going to carry over to next year. Right?
Yeah.
Somebody might get a hammy hurt. Somebody back might lock up. Somebody might just be getting older, and it's not the same. And now you're depending on a group that you thought was going to play the same as he did last year, and they're not. Because contrary to popular belief, if you don't have it all going at the same time, you're probably, the parts that you have that are going good probably aren't going to be good by the time you catch up with the rest of your team. Case in point, the defense. And teams that have great defense that can't score. When they finally fix the offense, what happens? Your defense start giving up 30.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so that's the part of this offensive line has been a staple for since Nick Chubb's rookie year. That you could depend on them moving bodies. Now, for whatever reason, it's not the same. And to expect it to just be the same over and over and over. And that's why coaches have to adjust how they do things also. Simply because, we don't have the same offensive line we had. How are we going to, adjust just a little? Maybe roll our quarterback out. Maybe run more counter stuff. Maybe do stuff to have the defensive line standing still so our offensive line can get on them with movements and stuff like that. You got to work with it because, football's not, stagnant. Like, it's not the same year after year after year. Even teams that are always in the hunt do it differently every year. Like, you look at Kansas City.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, they went from being a dominant offensive team to just winning football games. A multitude of ways. Then the defense got really good. Then we started having questions about the offense not being explosive.
Leroy, I want to ask you this question because obviously you're an offensive dude, and as I watch and me being a defensive minded type individual, as a defender, I always loved when an offense didn't threaten us, right? If I'm not threatened, if I feel like our defensive front, we can stop the run with 4. If I feel like we can get home with 4. If I feel like we can do that up where we are and win in the trenches, it then eliminates a lot of the things that may open some things up because now I don't have to commit other people to the run game. I don't have to commit linebackers. We don't got to bet on them play action.
Right.
Talk about it from an offensive perspective of the goal of how do you guys want to go attack defenses to be able to threaten them a lot of ways, especially with just the running game. And given the fact that right now the quarterback is rushed for 24 yards, how does that hamper an offense if you just can't run the ball and there's no threat at all?
Well, the one of the things that you said is we look at it kind of the same way. Like for us, if you have to bring 6, 7 guys, if you have to walk a safety down to stop the run, we win it. Right? Because now our whole offense is open. But if we can't block 4 or 5 guys and you can drop 6 or 7, it becomes more difficult to do anything. especially for a young quarterback, right? Because, if you're a veteran quarterback and they drop 7, you can move a couple of guys with your eyes. You know where everybody is. You can do a little no look, that a lot of guys do because there's so many bodies in the secondary. If they can stop you with 4 or 5 guys, it's usually going to be a long day because you're not controlling the trenches. Conversely, you look at the Browns defense. When they can get those forefront guys after you, they can do all kind of crazy stuff in the secondary. And so it's basically a fundamental of football. It's not just with any offense, it's with all offenses. How many guys can we force you to bring down in the box? And some guys with, say, for example, with Shedeur, they're going to say, you know what? We're going to put 8 men in the box and make you beat us. Or we're going to line up like we got 8 men in the box and then drop 3 guys back. We're going to do stuff like that to kind of get you out of your comfort zone. So it's important to be able to establish the run. And I would say for some teams, especially this team, it's more important to have a number of carries. Like if I can look at a Browns game and see 30, 35 carries, you've done a good enough job up front. But when I see 35 passes and 20 runs, that means you're putting everybody in a very uncomfortable situation, including a young quarterback.
Try to evaluate Quinshon Judkins. We thought we had something the last couple of weeks. It's just been an absolute disaster. 12 carries, 21 yards. Personally, I think there's a whole lot more there than that. How much of this is Judkins being a rookie and not finding his legs yet? How much of this is the fact that the offensive line, on most carries, he's hit behind the line of scrimmage, which is stunning to me.
That's right.
Where are we with Quinshon?
Could be a little bit of both, but I would like to say this about it's the number of carries. Okay. If he had 20 carries for 30 yards, I'd say okay. But 12 carries means they got you out of the run game. Right? Simply because, like, when you rush the football, we making it sound like you got 12 carries, you average 4 yards a carry, you got 48 yards. Right? No. It's usually 1 carry for 20 yards and the other 11 carries for 28 yards. Like, but you don't know when that's going to come, so you have to be in a situation where you can stick with it. And hopefully one breaks. You very rarely, think about this, you very rarely going to see a team that has a running back that runs the ball for 30, that runs the ball 25, 30 times. That's not going to say they didn't control the line of scrimmage. And it's because you allowed them to run the ball that much. So when I see he only has 12 carries, the first thing I'm thinking of, well, they must have got him out of the run game, either with the score, the situation. A lot of times he got the ball and it was 2nd and 12, which is like, dude, you can't even rush social distancing, right? You know what I mean? Think about this. His average carry was just taking the ball, holding it above his head, and falling down. Man. So, right, like just to put it in perspective, and I used to always say to my coach, "What's 3 times 4?" Right. Well, so don't be upset with 2nd and 7.
Right. If you can average 3,
and
you
right, but I used to, and you know where I learned this from? Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
When Bill first came in, he made me watch a film of all of Emmitt Smith's runs from the previous year. And he said, what did you notice? Well, he ran for 1,600 yards, 1,500, 1,600 yards. His longest rush was 25 yards. And so second, there's nothing wrong with 2nd and 7. If you run the ball to stay ahead of the chains and you end up in 2nd and 12, now we got problems.
Right.
And I think that's what's been happening to the Browns is that now you put everybody in an awkward situation because now Q can't even be on the field. You know what I mean? We know you ain't running it.
Yeah, you out of here.
And so, right.
Yeah, Leroy, is it true that Bill Belichick is now sending you video of his girlfriend's cheerleading to watch?
This man.
No, dude, I ain't got that. Hey,
I mean, she was at a cheerleading tournament. You weren't into that?
Hey, look,
I'm
Washing your hands of it?
Do you?
My name is Paul. It's on you all.
Listen, I'm going to just say this.
Yeah.
My relationship with Bill Belichick was strong 30 years ago.
Yeah.
I like what he's doing now.
Gross.
Like, if he happy, good for him.
Nah, it's gross.
But I don't get caught up in that. I don't get caught up in all the other people's business.
What was your
That's
thoughts?
why you got along with everybody.
Look. Hey, Leroy's like, yeah. I don't even know about that,
Leroy,
dog.
I don't know if I've ever asked you about when the Browns moved on from Bernie. What was your reaction to that?
Oh, I was, man. Goodness. I think I might have been the saddest guy.
Yeah.
My relationship with Bernie, I was getting, look, we had our own little special thing. I didn't really have no route tree. I just had a little look. Hey,
Yeah.
Bernie turned around and looked. I knew what that meant.
Yeah.
Go catch you a pass, big fella. It's, them, nothing against Vinny. He just did things differently. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I understand why it happened, right? Like, what Bernie did when he played football is he did whatever he could to win. And when you think about his arm strength, nobody ever questioned his arm strength because he always got the ball where it needed to be. And you had to watch and be a part of it to understand that maybe he didn't look like your typical quarterback
He
with
definitely
how he
At all.
ran around.
At all.
Right.
At all.
But when it was time to throw a pass, did you ever say, whew, man, it always seemed to get there.
That's true.
I used to tell him, man, if I ran a 10-yard out, he had to throw it yesterday at lunch. I'd catch it tomorrow at dinner. But it was there. Right? but that's
because he was so smart.
Right. And so, like, he was a football player that understood what he could and couldn't do and did things accordingly to be successful.
Yeah, that's an.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, your
Right.
limitations. By the way, Bernie
Right.
told me earlier this morning he is out of the hospital.
It's back out.
So
Good.
he is out again. So
Yes.
Bernie,
Yeah.
keep chugging, man. Keep doing it.
Leroy, I
Yeah.
gotta ask you. Big Ten, you know what I'm saying? Shout out.
Yeah.
I ain't going where you think I'm gonna go. So don't even worry about that. What I am gonna ask you is,
So many things I could say.
yeah, right there. Right?
Oh,
See,
I'll
this
leave
is
it.
why.
I'll leave it. I'll leave
This
it.
is why.
Let me just say this. I can separate, and I've done this my whole life. I separate the art from the artist.
Yeah.
People make mistakes, and people do crazy things outside of their character.
Right.
But here's what I want to say about that frustrated me more than anything.
Okay.
In 250 years of college football between Michigan and Ohio State, that was the first black coach for either of them.
Yep.
That's
And
crazy.
I did not want – I wanted to see him have a run,
Yeah.
if only for that reason. Right?
No,
Now,
that's absolutely fair.
I know what had to happen, and I understood it, and I was just sad for the situation,
Yeah.
sad for all the parties involved.
Yeah.
Sad for his family, sad for him. I hope he gets through it. I hope his family gets through it. I hope my school gets through it, and we can move on from there. But I was just sad. It just unfortunate.
Yeah,
That's a good way of framing it.
Look, they wanted. You know how many interviews I got requests to be like, "Hey, you want to come talk?" I say, "No. Listen, I'm cool. I'm sitting this one out.
Right.
I'm cool."
Right.
I want to ask you. I was going another Big Ten route. You see Mendoza, right? You see?
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you draft him? Would you draft him? You know you weren't gonna come up on here and not good. No. What you think about it? Would you draft him?
Can I say this?
Okay.
He has a lot of the qualities of both Shedeur and Cam Ward, with a little more polish in it. That between all those guys, you put them on a football field, they're going to make plays. Right? But between all of them, the thing that'll separate them all is when there's structured offense. That you don't have to go out and run around and make a play all the time. Sometimes you got to sit in that pocket, make a read, and make a throw. And for young quarterbacks, that's the hardest thing to do, to maneuver in the tight spaces in the pocket and still be able to keep your eyes downfield and make an accurate throw. Sometimes that takes time because you've always been able to run around and make plays. And so that's what you revert to when things are hectic.
Yeah, and really kind of going back to what you said about Bernie, knowing your limitations. I think the guy of the three that you mentioned, I think the guy that understands his limitations and limits his mistakes. Of course all of these guys can make plays. They had great success at college. They're playmakers. I'm not surprised Shedeur Sanders has had success with the deep ball. He's a playmaker.
Right.
I think what defines quarterbacks is your bad sample. Can you limit your mistakes? Can you understand your limitations and play within them? Bernie Kosar. It's a perfect example.
Correct. It's the thing that I hope that, and I think I texted Jay this a couple of weeks ago. Dylan Gabriel plays quarterback, right? He looks the part. He drops back. Ball is in a perfect position. Motion's great. Sits back, sits in the pocket. That picture right there.
Yeah.
He looks like a quarterback. Shedeur plays football. Yeah. Shedeur plays football. And somewhere in between those two guys is a hell of a quarterback. Now, I will say this. It's easier for Shedeur to get to that point because he is a football player that makes plays than it is for Dylan Gabriel to go up to that spot.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
And so from that standpoint, that's why you see, and you've seen early, Shedeur move a little bit, but keep his eyes downfield because he's trying to make a play. And make some plays and be accurate on the run and do a lot of good things. The thing that terrifies you is he trying to make a play. And it's that structure part of it that's going to stop him from just chucking it up.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, Jameis a little bit.
Or trying too hard to make a play. You got to know when. And that's kind of where he needs to go. But as far as watching him play, there's nothing about Shedeur that doesn't say, yeah, I got a chance to win. Right? He's going to do something special. It's just that in this league, when you don't do something special and you do something on the other side of that, like throw an interception, there's far more consequences at this level than there was in his last level.
No, Leroy, listen, why would you mess up that whole good? That was a soundbite right there. We were supposed to clip you right there, and we were supposed to put that on the internet. We weren't supposed to go no further than that. That's exactly, no, I'm playing with you.
Hey, but I've always, look, the thing is that people could always have a problem with how I say things, but I'm just trying to give an honest answer. Like, that's the reality.
Unfortunately,
that's the reality of it.
A lot of people don't want honest answers.
People selectively hear.
Yeah.
They will disregard 98% of what you say.
I thought that was pretty high.
I thought he was in on the 2% they don't like.
I thought you were very high right there. I said, the thing that I drilled down on is you said there's not a time where you don't think I can win. Because when I watch the games, I come away, it ain't perfect all the time, but there's not a time where I look and be like, oh no, we could do that. Okay, I got some hope.
Right. Now I will say this. my old wise veteran wide receivers and guys catching the ball, help a brother out. Help him out.
Kidding.
Help your young guy. Help your young guy out. And that's one of the things that would help the situation a lot more, is that, you know what, we need to do maybe a little bit extra to help our young quarterback out. That has always been the case. Usually you have a couple of, if you have a young quarterback with some veteran wide receivers, they can work through a lot of stuff.
Thanks, Leroy.
Leroy, Merry Christmas, brother.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Hey, is it cold up there? Because I'm gonna tell you, it might be colder down. It might be colder down here.
Yeah,
actually, no, it's supposed to be.
It's actually going to be 50 today.
No, mid-40s today, mid-50s tomorrow.
Yeah, hey, I'm taking it.
I'm talking about at the quarterback position. You know they benching Tua, right?
Yeah.
I heard. Yeah, I did. I heard that.
Dolphins will be drafting a quarterback next year.
Yeah, they will.
You think?
No, they won't. No, they won't.
Well, right now they're going to be after us. So.
Yeah, they ain't gonna draft the quarterback. They got. If they get rid of Tua, it's gonna cost them $90 million.
Ooh.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, we know about
exactly.
Yeah, we ain't going nowhere.
Right.
We cool.
You made your bed. Now you got to sleep in it. Leroy, thanks, man. Merry
That's
Christmas.
it.
We'll
All right. Merry Christmas to everybody.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, sir.
That was Leroy Hoard. Guys, we'll get to our next topic after a quick word from FanDuel. NFL Sundays move fast. One big play, and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds. Every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. All right, guys, I got tagged in a Chase Daniel clip about 85 times yesterday, and I responded to the first one saying, who cares? And the clip, which I wish we can show, but we are not legally allowed to show you.
I wish we could, too.
Was after Shedeur's first interception, he didn't move. And I said, who cares? It's cold. I don't want my quarterback who I'm trying to evaluate making a tackle in negative temperatures. This is a non-story.
Yeah.
And then I got tagged in it 45 more times. And then UCSS got tagged in it 100 more times. Said, all right,
jeez,
guess we got to ask about it. So, guys, do you believe it is a big deal, a small deal, no big deal at all, that after he threw his first interception to the linebacker, Shedeur did not move an inch?
I think it's a small deal. It's not no deal, but I don't think it's a big deal. The Browns, a couple of years ago, lost a quarterback, and you can say it actually led to them literally losing a quarterback because of Baker Mayfield.
There it is. Go ahead.
However, I will say this. I did not notice that in real time as I watched the game. I will say my first reaction to it when I saw it was jaw-dropping. He didn't move either foot. He was still in the position that he finished throwing the football in. And it was a kind of akin to, when a ball's hit over a left fielder's head, and he just stands there and doesn't turn around.
Yeah, with a home run.
I think, and we've never talked about this, but as a pitcher, I hate that.
Yeah, that would piss me off.
I hate it.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you're doing things for the optics of them. I watched New England lose to Buffalo on Sunday, but I also watched their young quarterback, Drake May, run 65 yards down the field to block and run interference for Travion Henderson so he could score a touchdown. And I went back and looked at the play because in my mind, I thought he was doing a lot more blocking when in reality, he was just kind of shielding the defender from getting to Travion Henderson, which made a difference. It helped score the touchdown. But to me, it was the optics of it. And at the time, the broadcaster during the game said, that's exactly what makes young men follow other young men. That's what a leader looks like. Now, say what you will about Baker. I think Baker is reckless. But one of the things that you'll always hear broadcasters and teammates say about Baker is, oh, he's a dude. He's a player. We're going to go out there and we're going to go to war with this guy. He's a trash talker. There's famous videos of him standing in the tunnel talking to guys. Yeah, we'll see if you're still talking that junk at halftime. Like, guys like that. Guys, they're looking for a leader. So I don't want Shedeur running out there and recklessly throwing his body at someone when what difference is that going to make? It was still a 14-3 game. I don't want him to be reckless, but I also don't want him to stand in that very position while all 10 of his teammates are chasing someone. So again, I think it's optics. I don't think it's a major deal, but I do think it is a deal.
G?
So no, this is not a deal. And by the way, I'm gonna keep it real because people will say, "G. Bush, you why would you not think this was a deal? If it wasn't Shedeur Sanders, you would have actually, to be truthful, if you go back and rewind the time." So let's take a look at this. This is Exhibit A. If we kind of zoom in on this, I know I could have sent this in on tag board, but this right here, my good people,
Tag board not full.
This is tag board not full.
Tag board doesn't work, so ironically, thank you, tag board, for being
Baker Mayfield has been playing with a partially torn labrum in his left shoulder. Right? And how did he get it? Suffered an injury on a non-throwing shoulder on September 9th, trying to make a tackle against the Houston Texans. Now, here's the thing.
I don't know if it's pick six. It was interception.
It was interception, right. I was livid when that happened. That right there was the beginning of the end for Baker Mayfield in Cleveland. That play.
Yeah, because he got hurt.
He got hurt.
Yeah.
The whole shoulder thing, he kept trying to play through it, he eventually left. The thing that I get, and a thing a lot of coaches will tell you, not only do I not want my quarterback running and tackle nobody, I want them to run the opposite way. Because guess what people are going to do?
Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
A quarterback run the opposite way?
Because
I've never seen that.
Because when you throw, you know what we're going to do? If I'm a defensive lineman and we done flipped over,
You're looking for the quarterback.
I'm finding the quarterback.
Sure.
And I'm going to try to put him into the turf.
That's what you're looking for.
The reality of the situation is quarterbacks don't compound and put your team in a situation. You already threw the interception. Do not compound it by you getting injured and having your throwing shoulder being screwed up. I don't want Josh Allen doing it. I don't want nobody. If you're a quarterback, you throw a pick, I want you to be as far away from that as possible.
Let me ask you this, because I get that. It is smart. It's a business decision. That's what we call it. But let me ask you this. If on a kickoff, a kicker kicked the ball and then stood right there at his tee, never moved, stood right there at his tee, and the defenders fail to stop the kick returner, and on the video we see that, where's your safety valve? Well, he's standing right over his tee, because he doesn't want to get hurt. He's a very important position. You only carry one kicker. You can't lose this guy. But he's standing right at his tee, and the kick returner goes right by him, and he's just standing there watching him.
You know what they tell him?
I'm ripping that kicker.
You know what they tell the kicker, Bull?
Yeah.
They tell him, you're the last defense.
Yeah.
You're trying to wait time. You're trying to corral him.
Right.
I get that, but you're trying.
Here's the deal, Jay.
You're trying.
You brought up the Drake May situation.
Yeah.
What happens if Drake May got hurt on that play?
You know what I loved about what
We
Drake May
crucified him.
did?
Yeah.
And I didn't catch this the first time, Bull.
Yeah.
Because the first time when I watched it originally, my first thought was, Drake May, what are you doing?
Right.
But when I rewatched it, I watched it completely differently, and I saw what he did was actually what I would call smart interference. He wasn't engaging the player. He did have a little bit of leverage on the player.
Yeah.
And so what he was doing was running alongside of him. Now, I think
but
Drake May's a bigger guy.
But you can't do that on an interception return.
No.
You can't.
No, but
that would have been pointless.
Well, what I'm saying
Yeah.
is, on that, again, I do think there's a fine line between when you engage and when you don't.
Right.
And also, what are the optics of it? There's levels. He could have attempted to move and look like he was going in that direction. There were two other Browns that were running with no intent of catching them.
Right.
None.
But what's
they
the
were
point of that?
running. They were running.
But in the end, it
I
doesn't
just
matter.
think to me it was a bad look that a guy throws a pick and then literally he's standing in the same spot.
I honestly didn't think anything of it, even after I saw the video.
You think it was talked about by the coaches?
I doubt it.
G?
No.
Never brought up.
What did Chase Daniel
Think
say?
any of
I
the
hadn't
offensive teammates didn't look at it and think,
No, here's.
I don't want my. I've seen so many quarterbacks get hurt.
I don't want.
I know what I would do on that field. I know what my instinct would be.
And I'm gonna just go back to what I told Baker, bro. You have to be smarter than that. You are the team. The Browns team, think about this. The Browns were in a position where they were competing with the Kansas City Chiefs, a loaded roster.
The Browns
tanked.
aren't there now.
I know. We tanked. You are the quarterback, the leader. If you are out of these games, we have no chance of winning. And sometimes we call this fake hustle.
I'd applaud fake hustle here.
I hate. You know what? I don't like fake hustle because fake hustle get people hurt. Do not be running after that. Great. You made a tackle against a guy, and that play in infamy counted for nothing. You got injured. The Browns ended up floundering the rest of the season. We missed the playoffs because you're trying to make that tackle. I get it. You want to indoctrinate.
Hell, he got traded for it.
You expect? I want my quarterback to.
But
use
now go back and look at the contact. Like Baker wasn't just fake hustle, but Baker. And it was stupid what he did.
Yeah.
Like,
Baker dove at him like he was a
Why do we want somebody
quarterback.
to do something stupid?
I don't want him to do that.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
There's a fine line between what Baker did and what Shedeur did, but there's a lot of area in between
I'd
those.
rather my quarterback stand there and do nothing than try to make a tackle and get hurt.
Even if you're just running to the ball, what if the ball gets knocked free?
They're looking for you.
Somebody could
There's
fall on
other
it.
guys there.
There are, but
I just don't want anything.
If you can get 6 guys around the ball to fall on it, or 7, give me 7.
Because the risk of the quarterback getting hurt is higher than the quarterback making a play.
And Bull, so if that's the case, why does he ever drop back to throw a pass?
He
could get crushed. He could get hurt.
But it's in the line of him doing what he's
talking
talking
about?
It's in the line of him doing his job.
I said the risk of him getting hurt on a play like that is he has a greater risk of getting hurt than making a play.
Yes.
When you drop back for a pass,
you got to do it.
You have a better chance of.
I think my overall point is he's playing football.
Jay, you didn't even let me finish my point.
Finish.
You said, well, why would he throw a pass? When you throw a pass, you have a better chance of making a play than getting hurt.
And
you have a chance of getting hurt?
Yes, but there are protections.
But that's not what I'm saying. So you have a much better chance of making a play than getting hurt.
Sure.
On a play like that, you have almost no chance of making a play.
And in the pocket,
and yet you have a chance of getting hurt.
In the pocket,
I have seen quarterbacks tackle the interceptor before.
Jay, in the pocket, you have rules and regulations that protect the quarterback. You can't hit him.
No, I get what you're saying. When he's a defender, he's fair game.
He's fair game.
Keep your head on a swivel.
It's irrelevant. It's
keep your head on a swivel.
It's a bad comparison.
What I'm saying though is, when he is dropping back as a quarterback, there's protections where you can't hit him certain places, and he is protected. Once that ball turns over, he is now a defender. Those protections are gone. What I'm going to do as a defensive lineman is hunt him out and make him pay. If he's moving it, he shouldn't be by piles. He shouldn't be running to the play.
I want my quarterback.
I want him nowhere near
a tackle.
Nothing. Fair. Look, it's a business decision. He made a business decision.
I don't look at that as a business
decision. Sure,
decision.
it is. A business decision is, do I engage or not?
Is
there a chance that I get hurt on here? That's a business decision. Am I right?
I think it's a team
That's
decision.
a business decision.
That's a franchise decision.
No, it's a business decision. The franchise isn't making that decision for you. You are.
It's a team. It's a team. It's a smart team decision.
And you know what? Because of that reason,
when you say a business decision, you make it seem like it's a selfish move.
No,
I don't think
not.
It's selfish. Yeah.
Listen, there's some business decisions that I support. Some business decisions are good decisions.
You
want to stay in business or do you want to be out of business?
If you want,
and what he did there was he said, "I want to stay in business." Yeah. That is a business decision.
A $300 million quarterback or a guy who is a franchise guy or a guy that you're trying to take and evaluate, guess what? That's the best business decision.
To me, I look at Drake May. His position is solidified.
Well, he tripped.
That guy's locked in. He is the 10-year future starter for the New England Patriots.
Well, maybe, but...
And when I watched what he did on that play, I can't watch that in any other way and saying...
But that's a bad comparison,
that dude is a leader. He is a baller.
It's an unfair comparison.
That's my comparison. You can make your own.
But it doesn't...
I'm just saying mine.
It's not apples to apples.
You're right.
One's
you know
on
why?
offense, one's
because
on
Drake
defense.
May has a lot more to lose than Shedeur Sanders does.
Agreed, but... One is a play. You just said he didn't actually do anything. He didn't put himself at risk.
No, here's what he did.
Yeah.
He ran down the field and he caused interference to keep the defender from tackling him.
And if if Shedeur Sanders had a chance to do that same thing and didn't do it, I would have a problem with it. But that's not the same thing.
It's not the same scenario.
Again, Bull, it's the optics of it. When you saw that play, you literally were like, yeah, that's cool. I got no problem with that.
I didn't think anything of
Nothing.
it.
Really?
I don't want my quarterback
because you're usually an effort guy. I'm an effort guy. I want all 11 on the field. When they're on the field, I want effort.
If my quarterback gets hurt,
I don't want you to be dumb. I don't want you to be Baker Mayfield. But I also, just the optics of him throwing and then he just stood there and watched.
If Drake May got hurt, their season's over.
Done.
Unquestionably, not only their season, Bull, their future.
Well, I mean, that would be a catastrophic injury, maybe.
If you lose a franchise quarterback, it doesn't set you back more than the rest of that season. How do you think Kansas City is? Look at Kansas City right now. If they have to go to war next year without their franchise guy,
but he'll be back.
He may. I mean, we don't know. He also tore his LCL.
Yeah,
and speaking from someone who's done just the ACL and then other ligaments with it, it adds time to the recovery.
Sure, yeah.
So it could be, if he's 10 months away, he comes back in October. Hey, man, I don't love their chances if he comes back in October.
Shedeur Sanders is at a point where proving things for optics just so you can have some optics don't mean nothing. To me, you know what I would rather him do? I would rather him sit here, watch the dude as it happens, because chances are the guys will make a tackle. They made the tackle. And what I would rather you do is figure out how you got fooled on the interception and not let that happen again. Not make tackles. I'm like, okay, that's a learning decision. That's a learning point. I've got a problem with what you did.
Let me ask you this question,
the interception.
Would there have been a flag if a defender knocked him right off his feet on that play?
Not if they're blocking.
As long as it wasn't helmet to helmet, no.
So if you're on a football field and you stand still, they can't hit you?
If you were running, so here's the thing. If I'm standing still, right, and the play's over there, everybody's running towards the play.
They can hit him.
But
yeah, they could.
They could hit him. But here's the thing.
It's not a penalty.
But here's the thing. Is it more of an option or more of a likelihood that they're going to hit you if you're running towards the football pile?
But of course. Yeah, but they can hit you.
Yes.
So the defender or the guys that were playing defense that were maybe looking at, hey, I'm going to see if I can spring a block, and they come across the guy just standing there. I know what you would do to him.
Yeah. Here's what
you put him into the dirt.
You know what I would tell any quarterback? Sit right, unless it is the last play and it is the Super Bowl. If you throw an interception, I would like you to take yourself and run right to the sideline. I don't want you nowhere.
I've never seen that. I can't imagine I ever will see that.
Because watch this.
I can't imagine I ever see that.
He's too important. So just take him out of it. I would tell you about Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes.
Joe Burrow missed the whole season because he made a tackle.
This is what I'm saying.
And by the way, if I'm Joe Burrow and Josh Allen and I'm those guys.
Baker Mayfield.
I am not.
The list goes on and on.
Yeah, and if I'm any of those guys and I want to disengage, okay, I get it. You're dealing with hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
If I'm a young buck trying to make my way in the NFL and win over teammates and fans and coaches, guess what I'm not doing?
Well, here's the thing.
What I'm not doing is standing there and watching all 10 of my brothers chase someone down.
And watch this. If Shedeur Sanders was to go out there and hurt his shoulder and get injured, that might be the last time he's playing, period. Let's keep it real. Like, you act like he's going to get a guarantee. He's getting a guaranteed option to play next year.
He's not.
So my thing is, yes. So I'm not about to go out here try to make a tackle. I got 4 more games to play. I'm the quarterback. I need to be judged on quarterback plays, not how good I look getting hurt on a tackle.
I think this is a perfect example of seeing a situation and who is in that situation. And deciding it on that. Because I've asked myself before this question today, what if it was Josh Allen? First of all, in my head, I cannot imagine a scenario where Josh Allen does that. I've never seen a quarterback do that.
You may be right, but if I'm a Bills fan, I don't want Josh.
I know what you want, Bull. I get that, and again, I get that it's if there's a dumb play to make, it's to go stick your nose into the ball carrier. I don't want him doing that.
Well,
what I want him doing is at least show a little effort.
Let me ask
don't
you this.
Stand there and be neutral.
Let me ask you this: if you got a private moment with everybody on the Browns and they all said across the board, "No, I don't want him chasing after it."
I don't think they would say that.
Well, but if they did, would you change your mind? Or if the large majority did?
Well, I don't think I would because.
Well, but your whole argument's been about like leadership to the team.
No, that's part of
the whole team said they.
Well, I think that's part of the. My thing is, and I understand that there's a risk to get injured if you do that. There is a risk, a calculable risk, on every play that a football player steps on the field. There's a risk. We saw what happened to Damar Hamlin a couple of years ago. There is, and the risk, it varies. It goes from dying, which could happen, to being paralyzed the rest of your life, which could happen, to getting a stinger and missing a series, to making an aggressive tackle but not getting hurt and coming right back out in the next series. So there's all kinds of possibilities in there. For me, personally, and this is just a personal decision, you can either look at it and say, I'm cool with that, or you can, I don't care who the quarterback is. If I see a quarterback do that, I'm going to raise my eyebrows. That's
fair.
Just the way I am.
I mean, listen, I get it.
If my feet are on the field, I know one thing. I'm going to give every effort I have.
I disagree. But I don't think you're crazy for feeling that.
That's your personal preference.
I think there's certainly an argument for it.
I don't think you're crazy either. The reason I say that is because I get business decisions. I get them.
And I'll tell you this in terms of, well, is it Shedeur blinding people? Unfortunately now, every time I want to discuss Shedeur, I think to myself, am I just saying this because it's Shedeur?
Yep.
And before I make a final decision.
I agree, Bull.
Because there's a lot of pressure. Because
but you know what? We
for every 15 positive things you say about Shedeur, one negative, everybody gives you crap, and you got to ignore that.
What you just said is entirely true. But and I think if you talk to anybody, talk to Jason, talk to G, talk to Tyvus, you have pressure in a different way that we've never discussed on this show.
What's that?
You have pressure to be supportive for the culture. And I know you feel that. I know you do because I've talked to plenty of other people that are in your spot that have readily admitted, hell yeah, I have pressure.
So when you say that, what does that mean? Drill down on that.
What it means is if you come out and let's just say that, and I'm not going to name names because we've talked about this and they've actually said I would never admit this publicly. Two friends that I have that I've worked with the business for a long time that have said this. Man, I can't say anything bad about him. My people will come after me with knives. They'll kill me for that. So I said, so what do you do then? Do you change your opinion? You don't change your opinion, do you? And he said, the one said, well, what I find myself doing is trying to find the positives in his game and focusing on those. And Bull, you know this. I know you know this well because you've been in this opinion world for a long time. This is what I don't like about the opinion world, by the way. There's always outside pressure. The second you start listening to it, you compromise your integrity.
Absolutely.
So you agree with that?
So let me address that. So you go back to Monday, right? What'd I say? I said first and foremost, as we talk about it, I don't think Shedeur Sanders played well. I gave you an opportunity. See, this is the thing I do. Here's the thing.
I'm not questioning your integrity.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just
and I think you've been relatively fair for the most part.
See, what I'm saying though is, what I do is, I not only give you that, I go do film breakdown.
Sure.
So when I do film breakdown, we roll over every single throw. The good ones, the bad ones. Tyvus will say, this is not it, that ain't it, this was it, this wasn't it. So the thing I back up is based on two things. Yeah, you can think Shedeur Sanders can play, or you think you can think what you want of him. But the thing that's going to keep you on the football field and the thing that we talk about is always the thing. That is how well you play. I've been consistent from Jump Street. Now, I thought he should have got an opportunity to play quicker, but when he has played bad or thrown interceptions, I can give you the play I thought he got fooled on. I can give you the two plays I thought he did well on, and we're going to break that down. So for me, there is no pressure in terms of the culture. You don't feel any pressure? No. Why would I feel pressure? Why would I feel pressure? Because the reason I like Shedeur Sanders and the reason... hold on, let me explain. The reason I messed with Shedeur Sanders was because I felt he could play. See, people got it confused, like, oh, you guys are starstruck. He's a star. His name wasn't Sanders. No, everything that I stood on was based upon what my pre-draft evaluation was. Now, when we talking about could he play on the football field, that's what I stick my flag on. The thing I push back on is this. There are certain things that were negative that were said about Shedeur Sanders that I believe were completely biased. They was not transparent, and it was narrative-based content.
That's fair, G.
So when I push back against that ain't the culture. I'm pushing back against the things that people are saying that were unfounded and were not true. So for me, I never have no problem telling nobody if Shedeur Sanders play well or if he don't play well, because I already have it on camera. It's on tape. We go over the film. The film is what tells me is he good or not. So I don't got no pressure. I just said it a couple seconds ago. Somebody was in the chat. G. Bush, you flip-flopping. So, what you talking flip-flop? Ain't no flip-flop. I'm standing on business. I said he didn't play that well. But I will tell you, though.
Gee, that's indisputable. I mean, nobody could have sat in your chair Monday and said he played well.
So what?
Nobody.
So why would I feel pressure?
So what I'm telling you is I think that for the most part, you've had a lot of integrity in sitting there and standing on what you believe. Look, you can believe a player's going to be good or is good and be wrong. That happens all the time.
Of course.
It happens every day. I've missed on a million guys.
I talk about it. I go back and say this. With Carson Schlesinger, I always use this example. When Carson Schlesinger got drafted, we did a draft show up here. I was freaking out. I said, I don't know what's wrong with this
add
dude.
in Mason Graham. You said if they draft Mason Graham, I'm off the show.
And then guess what? Here's the thing that I always go on. I took my little self out to practice. I watched Carson Schlesinger play, and I said, oh, this guy can play. My thing with the media and the problem we have is we're to a point where we shouldn't even be to a point where we have to double down on certain things. All you should do is you should be able to get new information, judge it based on what you see in today, and be able. But now everybody is, no, I don't believe this. It still ain't that. Guys, you don't get extra credit points for saying that you're right all the time. Sometimes if Shedeur Sanders plays wrong, doesn't play it well all the time, it's okay to say that. But it's also okay to say, you know what? Some of the pre-draft analysis that I got of him, that was kind of faulty. They kind of said he couldn't play or get in and out of the huddle or Dylan Gabriel was better. Like a lot of people were saying that stuff.
Gee, that's why the best of the best are supposed to be the general managers, right? If you look at it, the 32 most knowledgeable people about the NFL should be general managers. Guess what? They miss more than they get it right.
Yeah.
With quarterbacks, it's the hardest position in the world to evaluate.
Yeah.
I understand that. To your original point.
Yeah.
And again, it's not just me.
Yeah.
Because I do find myself saying, okay, how am I going to attack this? And at the end of the day, I always come back to the same thing.
Yeah.
I have to be genuine. Because if I'm not, anything I say is flat.
So
None
Mike,
of it matters.
Really quick, and then we'll move on because I know Mike wants to move on, but it's very important to respond to this. When I got into this business in 1999, and I've been in the opinion business since 2001 because I was doing
Which is a different business, by
right.
the way.
So I've been in the opinion business for almost 25 years.
Yeah.
I swore to myself in 2001, I was 30 years old. I said I would never say anything on the air that I didn't believe.
Smart.
Unless I was joking around, would be sarcastic. And
that's a very good way to go about it.
And I have never said anything on the air that I didn't believe. But when I say I have to think about Shedeur Sanders, what I'm saying is, let me make sure, I want to make extra sure that on a nebulous topic with Shedeur Sanders, I'm not afraid to say something negative just because it's easy to just let this one slide. And so, I'm making sure that I don't do that.
Yeah, I mean
every time.
The bull I know makes sure he does that every time.
Well,
You've never come out here and flippantly thrown out an opinion. The reason you're good at this, Bull, is because you have a firm flag to plant.
Absolutely.
If the guys that don't,
right,
I don't really know
That's it.
what I'm looking at. That's why. So people always say, "Well, what made Skip and Stephen A? What made them?" Watch them for 15 minutes. What makes them is, in Skip's case, they vehemently believe what they're saying is true. In Stephen A's case, he can argue a point that he may not be fully committed to, but you would never know it by the way he approached the topic, because he comes at it full guns blazing. Yeah. And so on this particular topic, I have sat here and said Shedeur's done a lot of great things. Mm-hmm. His deep ball is way better than I thought it was going to be. In terms of looking like a quarterback, earlier in the show, Leroy said, I think Dylan Gabriel looks like a quarterback. I think Shedeur Sanders looks like a quarterback. I think Shedeur Sanders looks more like a quarterback than Dylan Gabriel because of his stature. He's bigger. Yes. He gets in the huddle fine. He's got no problem calling the plays, commanding the offense. I've seen him do things on the field that make me say that guy's a leader. I've seen a lot of good things about Shedeur Sanders, but I am not being genuine if I look at stuff and squint and say, I could see that in a positive light.
Right.
And I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest.
And
but when I judge that play, I take the uniform off, put any other team's uniform and any other number on the back of that uniform.
Yeah. But you'd think all fans would want
I wish we could show the play.
But guys,
because it's worse than I'm even explaining.
And I know we got to go because we got to get to Josh Allen and stuff. But listen, let's just be honest. I said this before. This is not the first time we've been here. Do you think that people loved when I said Baker Mayfield wasn't playing? Well, no, they didn't like it. You got to understand something.
But there were times you were right.
But here's the thing. It comes with the good and the bad. You just take it.
That's why I'm not complaining about it.
No, I'm just saying. The Deshaun, you got to think about it. This conversation about Shedeur Sanders is easy money. Shedeur don't even really do nothing. You know how many conversations and what kind of letters and mail you get when you talk about Deshaun Watson?
Yeah.
That's why for me, I'm like, people like, oh, well, you're saying it's just because I said, but do you understand? I said stuff about Deshaun Watson that had legal ramifications, social implications, and people that took off their colors because of allegations for Deshaun Watson. So my thing is, people that's acting like this is the most difficult thing in the world to talk about because people think Shedeur Sanders can play. We've always had this. We've been going back and forth about Odell Beckham Jr., Baker Mayfield, Deshaun Watson.
And we will always have it.
And we will always have it.
The way the fans react to Shedeur is not like any of those others.
Well, the reason you had mentioned, I think it was Monday, maybe it was last week, I can't remember.
Yeah.
I think it was last week. You had given a grade on your podcast.
Yeah.
And you got hammered for it, even though most of your comments were positive.
Right.
And then when you came to the show, you gave a slightly better grade. And you said, I went back and I watched it again, which is smart.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it does air, views differently the second time. So I applaud you for that.
Yeah.
But this is the danger if you're going to live in the opinion world. I learned this from Skip Bayless many years ago. He was showing me his mentions. He wouldn't look at them. He goes, here's my mentions. Take a look. And I'm looking, and I was literally like, oh my God, Skip.
Yeah.
How do you get up in the morning? How do you go to bed at night? How do you walk down the streets of New York City without looking over your shoulder? Many times, kill yourself.
Yeah.
But folks, let's just take a step back. This is sports. This isn't life and death. And these people that will get in the comments, and by the way, with their internet muscle, and say things like, kill yourself? Are you kidding me? So Skip did this as a brief exercise. We were at lunch one day, and I was scanning through it. I could only look at it for about 30 seconds, and I'm like, oh, my God, Skip, this is awful. And you know what he said? And they were 95% were negative. He said, that's why I'm successful. I said, what do you mean by that? He said, I elicit response.
Yeah, sure.
I'll move people. He said, and here's what I've learned through doing this. There are far more people that agree with me than don't. You always hear from the people that don't agree. In social norms, they've done studies on this. You are 9 times more likely to complain than you are to give a compliment.
Yeah, that's true.
So if that's true, for every 10 comments you read, you were 9 times more likely to send that comment. And for every compliment you get, the person... That's rare. That's rare. Yeah. That's why I decided years ago I don't read anything. Mm-hmm. I don't read comments. I don't read. The last thing I would do is jump in a chat. Mike Greenberg also used to say this. Mike said, you know how this is how you can determine your popularity. How much money do you make? That's because a corporation has decided you are valuable to us to the tune of $6 million. Now, why are Skip and Stephen A. the highest paid guys? Because they elicit response. Yeah. But now Stephen A. is a little more, not a little more, a lot more, because Skip is not thin skin at all. I used to say this with quarterbacks. Rabbit ears and thin skin is the worst possible combination.
Yeah.
In television, you need earmuffs, and you just look at where you're going. Yeah. And Skip's been able to do that. Stephen A. will, and this is odd for me, I'm surprised it's not his personality, he will call out his detractors, and he's been doing a lot of that the last 3 months. Yeah. And my advice to Stephen A. is tune it out. Tune it out. Don't listen to it. If you ever wonder your value, look at your bank account.
Go ahead, Mike.
All right, we got to get this Josh Allen topic in before we bring Brian Hoyer onto the show. It's brought to us by A Home for the Holidays. Give big this year with the Home for the Holidays raffle. You have a chance to win a beautiful new custom home or a cash prize and help make wishes come true for Make-A-Wish kids with critical illnesses. Raffle proceeds benefit Make-A-Wish OKI, which has granted over 22,000 wishes to children facing critical illnesses across Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana since 1983. This year's house is a custom-built ranch by Petros Homes with 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and a 3-car garage. One lucky winner will be announced on December 24th, so get your $100 ticket now. Just visit homefortheholidays.org to buy your tickets. That's homefortheholidays.org. Terms and conditions apply. On Monday's show, Jay, you said if Josh Allen was the quarterback of the Browns, they still wouldn't be a playoff team.
Oh, man.
You said maybe a win or two more, but would not be a playoff team. Bull took offense to that.
We've had this conversation before.
So,
yeah.
Bull.
So first of all, I said, in my mind, the worst the Browns would be right now would be 7-7. At worst, they would be 7-7.
Wow. Well, we're going to have a lot more agreement on this than you thought.
Well, that's the worst they would be.
That's where I have them.
Well, I thought you said they would only have 2 more wins. Mike said you said you'll
No. I said they're not a playoff team.
Okay.
And by the way, it's 7-7. You're not a playoff team.
I'm saying that would be the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
I think they probably have more than 7 wins. So I asked my guy Cleve TA, who has his own analytics website.
He's good too, by the way.
And shoot, I should have written it down, the name of the website. Of course, I don't have it right in front of me right now. But
Well, just follow him on
I want to give
Twitter.
him a plug. And I said, okay, can you run a simulation with Josh Allen as the Browns quarterback?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I can do that. I said, all right. So he got back to me, and he said, okay, not only did I run a simulation with Josh Allen as quarterback, he's very connected in the gambling world.
Yeah.
He said, I spoke to a bunch of top handicappers, and I asked them what their opinion was.
Right.
And he said the average opinion from the handicappers ended up being the exact same number he had in his projections,
Okay.
which was the Browns would be 9-5 right now.
That's a joke. Yeah, that's a joke.
So you're saying the computers
Here's what
and
I'm
the
saying.
top handicappers are wrong.
Oh, handicappers are wrong all the time.
Okay, but what's more likely, that you're wrong or that the computers and the top handicappers are wrong?
Ask the top handicappers.
I don't know.
Well, no, ask the top handicappers.
Yeah. What do you mean?
So here's what I'll do.
Yeah.
I'm going to read to you the margin of defeat for the Browns this year.
Right.
How much is a quarterback worth?
In fact, probably 10 points.
Okay.
Maybe.
So then listen to this. They have losses this season: 24, 24, 19, 18, 14, 28. That's 6.
Right.
He's not going to win those 6 games.
Well, they would have gone totally differently if he was the quarterback.
Well,
So-
you're saying 10 points. That's why I wanted a number.
Right.
So,
but other
and
parts
that's fair too, by the way.
But other parts of the team would, maybe not special teams, but the defense, which has been until the last 2 weeks has been really good.
Yeah.
Would have been even better
Right.
if you had a good quarterback.
But I like the reason I wanted to start this discussion
Yeah.
by asking that question is
Yeah.
because I tend to think, and now obviously he's not going to be worth 10 points to the Rams, right?
Over Jared Goff? No, he wouldn't
No.
be 10 to the Rams.
So what you're really doing is it's kind of a wins over replacement number, don't you think?
to some degree, yes.
But in this case, it would be actually points over replacement. And to be more specific, it's not just because wins above replacement are of the average player. We haven't had average quarterback play. We've had below average quarterback play.
Yes.
So when I came at this, I said, what would a quarterback be worth? Like with the same pieces.
Yeah.
Now, also, by the way, you lose one of the best running backs in the NFL. You lose him.
Right.
Okay? James Cook is a big, huge offensive piece.
Okay.
He's got close to 1,500 yards this year,
Right.
12 touchdowns. Like, he's a weapon.
You have
Second in the
a
NFL in rushing.
significantly better
Second.
You have a significantly better defense.
And you have a significantly better running back.
I don't agree with that, but okay.
Well, he's got twice the yards.
He's got a
as
better
John
running.
gets.
Well,
now
you can't
remember,
go strict by yards. They have a much better offensive line than Bills.
And that is my point.
They have average at best receivers. The Browns have bad receivers.
Our receivers are worse than Buffalo's, to be sure.
If you just look at this year, obviously Jerry Jeudy's worse. Over the span of their career, Jerry Jeudy's better than any receiver on the Bills, career-wise.
I wouldn't say that, but you can.
Okay, but it's true.
Well, I just
objectively.
look, see, because for me, I just look at the most recent sample size. He's been awful. To me, he's been one of the worst wide receivers in the NFL.
So that means Baker Mayfield's the worst quarterback in football right now.
For the last 6 weeks?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, fair.
I agree with that.
All right.
But for the year, no. And I'm not judging
For
Jerry
the year,
Jeudy.
he's still in the bottom
I'm judging
half,
Jerry Jeudy
but go
by
ahead. Yeah.
what he's done.
Right, but if he was playing with a better quarterback, don't you think he'd be better?
Of course he would.
Yeah.
Everybody on the offense would. But the offensive line that's what they are.
No.
That's the point of attack.
Well, but the
So
offensive
you think they're going to say, hey, Josh is back there. We got to block better?
With the offensive line, outside of the last 2 weeks when they've really gotten injuries,
Yeah.
the rest of the season, their offensive line wasn't
Offensive line has been horrible.
not worse than the league, man.
No.
Our offensive line's been horrible.
If you go check out the PFF numbers,
I don't look at PFF.
Well, okay. Well, go look at you. Just watch the tape. Cleveland Browns offensive line, and when it comes to the run game, has been the run game grades.
Run
are bad.
game.
Worse.
Yeah.
Worse.
But not in the passing game.
But the pass.
But here's what we learned about the passing game.
yeah.
They're only sending 4.
All right. The Browns have
Because everybody else in the league
the
has
Browns
figured out
are
they're
miles
the worst
better
offensive line.
defensively than the Bills.
Yes.
They're just as good at tight end.
Well, here's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
I'm just going to cut to the chase because we can get down rabbit
Plus,
holes.
the Browns played a much easier schedule than the Bills do.
We can go down rabbit holes all day long. I'm just going to keep this.
What I'm saying is a rabbit hole while you're saying it's not a
Well,
rabbit
I
hole?
asked you a question. You
Okay.
said 10 points.
10 points, yes.
I'm going to give you 10 points.
Yes.
So, if with 10 points,
Yeah.
you're still got 6 losses in there. In fact, Bull,
Yeah.
they have 5 losses by 3 scores or more.
You're disregarding what I'm saying, that the games would be played differently. Other players would
course
be
they-
worth more points, too.
I get that, but
Yeah.
I asked you, what is a quarterback worth? What's
Yes.
his difference? You said 10 points.
Yeah, individually is worth 10 points.
Yeah, because he's making everybody around him better. So I'm giving them 10. So if I give the Browns in their 11 losses,
Yeah.
if I give them plus 10, they still have 6 losses of their 11.
I understand what you're saying. You're not understanding what I'm saying.
I think I understand what you're saying.
I'm saying that every game would have been played differently. They might not have been down as many points, and so ultimately there might be a touchdown because the Browns defense was put in a certain situation that they wouldn't have been put in.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I'll concede that point if you concede this point.
Yeah.
Are you going to assume that of all these 6 games, he would have definitively won all 6? Because
what does that mean?
Like, I'm asking you because I said, what's a quarterback worth? You said 10.
Yeah.
I gave you 6 examples where they lost by way more than 10.
Right.
So what I'm saying to you is, I'm not asking the quarterback to be worth 10 points because that's the high end of my scale. I would say between 7 to 10.
Yeah.
You said 10. I'll go with 10. If you make it 13,
Right.
they still lose all 6. If you make it 18,
Yeah.
they still lose 5. Now, to think that the quarterback is worth 18 points, that's a huge stretch. I'm not sure your buddies in Vegas or any computer will tell you that Josh Allen would be worth 18 points in every game.
Well, the computer did because the computer came up with 9 and 5.
Okay.
I think that's better than you and I giving opinions.
If you like computers, for years computers picked the winner in college football. They were awful at it.
Are humans good at it?
No. No
Okay,
one is.
so-
No, but you're using your argument, I'm using mine. So I'm
Yeah.
just saying, let's just assume on this wild assumption that he's
Yeah.
worth 14 points.
Right.
Then would you assume that all 6 of those games would have been wins?
All 6 of what games?
The games that were decided by 28, 24, 19,
Obviously,
18,
they
and
wouldn't have
14.
won all those games, but
Okay.
they would have.
How many are you going to give them?
I'm going to give them probably 3 of the games they got blown out in.
Okay,
Even
now-
if I give them 2, Jay, they're still they had how many losses did they have by less than 10? 4?
5 losses by less than 10 points.
Okay. So if they won those 5 games,
Yeah.
and then won 2 of the games they got blown out, now you got 10 wins. Now I'm not even saying 10.
But
Let's ask Brian Hoyer what he thinks.
First of
We
all,
do have
what
Hoyer
you're
in the
doing,
queue.
Bull, is
Yeah.
you're making the assumption, which is why I asked you to start the argument,
Yeah.
what is the starting quarterback worth?
I know that, but
when you say 10, I just have to take these 6 losses, 5
it's
of which
not
were
that
by...
simple though, because I could say Quinshon Judkins is worth a quarter of a point, and Myles Garrett is worth a point. But if he's a better quarterback, all those guys' numbers go up too.
But here's the thing, and
I think you're diminishing
hold on.
every other player on the field.
But the quarterback is worth so much more than anything else.
I agree with that.
But you also have to take in consideration that if Josh Allen is on this football team and they don't have certain pieces and parts, defense are going to play Josh Allen differently.
Sure.
They're going to have him throwing the ball 40, 50, 60
What
times
pieces
a game.
and parts besides Cook are so good with
None.
Buffalo.
I mean, they're
Nobody.
better than the Browns
We
pieces.
could ask a quarterback.
They're better
Let's
than
ask Brian Hoyer.
They're
Let's
better
ask
than the
Brian
Browns
Hoyer.
pieces. I'll tell you that.
They are at wide receiver.
This
Yes.
is gonna be fun.
Hey, first of all,
Let's do a
welcome
read
to the
and
show, Brian.
We're gonna do a read. We'll bring in Brian
okay,
Hoyer.
hold
Brian's
on.
brought to us by Rocket Money. Ever feel like your money just disappears each month? It happens fast. A few subscriptions here, an impulse buy there, and suddenly the numbers in your bank account don't match the numbers in your head. That's where Rocket Money comes in to help give you clarity. Track every dollar and stay in control of your finances. Take control of your money and cancel unwanted subscriptions with Rocket Money. Just go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. That is rocketmoney.com/lockedon. rocketmoney.com/lockedon. Brian's been in the queue for the last 3 minutes, and
Yeah,
some of the
what-
faces he was making at this debate were priceless. So, Brian, I can't
Brian,
wait to
tell
hear
him
what
he's
you
crazy,
think
please.
about this.
Please tell him he's
Wait,
crazy.
I want to start with this question. Can I start with this question? Brian, for you, a former quarterback. By the way, it's good to see you again.
You see what
Yeah.
we did? You came here the first time to Brian. We asked you the regular questions. Now,
not this time.
Now this time you in the panel. You
Brian,
gotta say
did you
something.
expect anything different?
I mean, now you guys got me signed up on this contract, and it's like I'm like, what am I walking
You're in.
into?
You're in now.
I'm like ready to break down the
Welcome to the
Browns
family,
team.
where we love
Yeah.
everyone and we dislike everyone. So,
I love
Brian,
it. I love it.
and again, good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
In general, and I know it's different because, like, Josh Allen is at an MVP level, and the Browns quarterback play, we know what it's been.
Objection, leading the witness. Go ahead.
You know what? That's actually sustained.
Yeah. Against your own argument.
I know, but I got to be fair. I am leading the witness.
Yeah.
So let me ask it this way.
Yeah.
In general, what is a quarterback worth in points added? Like in baseball, it's the wins above replacement. I'm asking this question, points above replacement per 4 quarters. What do you think it is?
God, it's so hard, and you're using such a great guy as your reference, Josh Allen. I was just at the game this past weekend and seeing what he did against that Patriots defense. And Josh is so unique because of his skill set. It basically makes the defense alter their game plan. So you're talking about a guy who can really come in and change how a defense is going to defend against you. Now, I will say this. I do think the Bills' surrounding cast is better than the Browns' surrounding cast. James
Absolutely.
Cook is a tremendous running back. Their tight end duo may be one of the best, if not the best duo of tight ends. Now, I'll say this, as I was getting ready to come in here and be analytical, I think Harold Fannin is going to be one of the top tight ends in the league. I love watching this guy. The way he plays the game, he's clearly become Shedeur's go-to guy, and I think they got a steal, and I think he's great. But the duo of Knox and Kincaid and the way that they use them is very unique. And then I would go as far to say that the offensive line is light years ahead of where the Browns is. They have a makeshift offensive line. I mean, the guy who's sustained it all is the guy who is the only Brown left from when I was playing, Joel Bitonio. And so, like, you've got a makeshift offensive line in there. The guy who's kind of been the consistent one is the oldest guy. I don't think it's comparable to say, like, I don't know how much better the Browns are with Josh Allen because you can't do it on your own. Now, if there's one quarterback in the league who kind of has put his team on the back at times, it's him. But I look at the Browns situation and watching that game against Chicago. It seems to me there's certain guys that are just checked out and haven't been on some teams where you're 3-10 and it's the end of the season and it's cold as hell. Like I'm not there, but there's guys who are ready to, like, make sure that they stay healthy, get to the off season, all of those things, and you can see that by some of the way that these guys are playing out there.
Right, but Brian, don't you think, like, if Josh Allen's the quarterback, guys wouldn't be thinking about that stuff because at the very least, they'd have 5, 6 wins, 7 wins. Jay said 5 originally. I said worst case scenario.
I'll give you 5.
To be there 7.
I'll give you 5.
So they wouldn't be totally out, especially in this division. Even at 5 wins, you wouldn't be completely out of it. But with Josh
I don't
Allen,
disagree with that.
right, and if your defense, which has played well until the last 2 weeks, they've had so much pressure on them that they've worn down, I think, as the year's gone along. That would not have happened if they had Josh Allen.
No, I would agree with that. I think the one thing, the defense, one, you got great players. You have Myles Garrett, who's just on a whole different level. And I have a lot of respect for Coach Schwartz. I think he's a tremendous coach. I remember when he was the defensive coordinator for Philly when we were about to get ready to play them in the Super Bowl, and the challenges that his scheme presented and how hard his guys play. And I think when you go into the game and say, man, we have to be basically perfect, it weighs on a unit week after week after week. And so it's tough. I think, look, does Josh Allen make this team better? Yeah, of course. He's probably the top 2-3 quarterbacks in the NFL. So he does. But I would say this, and having played the position, it's about the surrounding cast as well. And so I would say when I look at the Browns offense, and I think this is, I was trying to find the positives to talk about. Like, you have a young core of guys that I think are going to be good players in this league. Judkins, I already mentioned Fannin. I think what Bond has shown in the past few weeks, I liked what he was doing in this game against Chicago. So you have some guys, but you're going to need a lot of help. Whoever's playing quarterback for the Browns next year, you've got to make a lot of improvements along that offensive side of the roster.
No doubt.
Let me ask you this, Brian, and Bull, I'm curious to get your answer on this too. And I know it's early, and I'll preface it by stating that because it's obvious. The Browns are going to have a decision to make in the draft. The decision is, and we don't know where they're going to draft. If right now they're drafting 4th, and at least one of the teams ahead of them would take a quarterback, so you're looking now at QB2, unless you trade up and give away more assets. If you had to say, based on what you've seen now, is the Browns' future franchise quarterback on this roster?
I don't think you can give a definitive yes. I think that I've seen improvement from Shedeur Sanders. I think there's a lot of plays that flash, and you say that's a starting quarterback type of play. But he would have to have like a Jimmy Garoppolo, what Jimmy did in that first year in San Francisco type run over these next 3 weeks. And I think you still have to really take a hard look at if you have a chance to get Fernando Mendoza, which I don't know how much you guys have watched this guy. I've watched him play, but just the way he carries himself, like, I don't know, like, if the Raiders pass on Fernando Mendoza and he's sitting there and you don't have to trade up for him, are you going to say, we're going to pass on this guy? Because he's pretty impressive. Now, there's a lot to be, I haven't totally broken down college film of quarterbacks yet, but after that, I don't know who you would take. I don't know if anyone after that is better than where Shedeur is right now. And there's a lot of time left to determine that. Shedeur has 3 more games to play. These guys in college have to figure out who's coming out, what are they doing. You have to watch them go through the process. But I wouldn't say that anybody on the Browns roster yet has solidified themselves as the opening day starter next year. I think that's still yet to be determined.
I think Brian makes a great point. I think if you're the Browns, whoever's making the decision, if they have the opportunity to, let's say they think Mendoza's great, the next franchise quarterback. He's the only guy. If you have a chance to get him, you get him. It doesn't matter what else you need because you can get those things at other times. You never pass on a chance to get a franchise quarterback. It would be crazy. Now, if you don't think Mendoza or any of these guys is a franchise quarterback, then of course you don't take him. Right. You certainly don't trade up for him.
Because we've done that before.
You don't take him.
We've done that before.
Or if you think, if whoever's making the decision thinks Shedeur Sanders is the franchise quarterback, then you don't take him either. But if you're not sure about Shedeur as an organization, I don't know how they feel right now or whoever's making the decision next year, and if you're convinced Mendoza's the guy, then I don't even think it's a discussion. Then it's an easy decision, in my opinion. Brian, are you on board with that?
The biggest question, and you just repeated it several times, is who's making the decisions?
Right.
Is it Jimmy and Dean Haslam? Is it Andrew Berry? Is it Kevin? Like, that's all yet to be determined as well. And who's going to be the one? Let's just say you clear house. Okay, you have someone bringing someone new in that's going to evaluate Shedeur from an unbiased perspective. Like, that's going to go into it too. So there's a lot, I would say, that has to be determined before you say yes or no to whoever it is. But I promise you this, someone is going to draft Fernando Mendoza, that he will be the first quarterback off the board. There's no doubt. I've talked to John Gruden. He was on our podcast about it. He's raved about him. I've watched him play, albeit sparingly, but you know, the game-winning drive at Penn State, I think he makes all the throws. Obviously, he's the only person to beat Ohio State this year. He's very well poised. Everybody raves about him. He will be the number one guy. There's no doubt about it, in my opinion. And so then you have to weigh that decision. And I don't know if it's worth trading up 2 spots with Vegas. Maybe they tempt you into doing it. But if he falls to number 4, if that's where the Browns end up being or wherever it is, are you going to sit there and say, we're going to pass on this guy for Shedeur? I don't know. There's still 3 games to be left to be played. And I would say when I watch when I watch the film, Shedeur has made improvements. He's starting to understand the game. Now, there's a long way to go. Obviously, I'm not going to put the interception that hit Judy in the chest and Jalen Johnson picked off. That's clear as day. That's on Jerry Judy. But the other ones are the one trying to hit Fannin on the play action. That's a play that I threw to Jordan Cameron back in 2014. And when I look at that, his feet aren't correct. He's taking a 3-step drop on a play action pass. It's got to be a 5-step drop. And that is why the linebacker gets back underneath the football. And then the other one is just learning in the when a corner has his hips towards you and you think you could throw it over to him. Bill Belichick used to describe it as the Pythagorean theorem. And I was like, man, I never thought I was going to hear that in a football meeting. But you have to learn those things. And so, but I do think his pocket presence at times has improved. There are times where I see a lack of, I would call it like a sense of urgency. He kind of just sitting back there. But other times he moves his feet and makes a big throw. I thought the throw to Bond down the middle versus the blitz, like he's clearly identifying when those opportunities are there. So he's improving. It's just a matter of how much are you going to put on this audition to bypass a potential franchise quarterback, if that's what they deem, whoever makes that decision, if that's what they deem Fernando Mendoza is.
You know, Brian, the key thing to me is, I'm a bit of a Game of Thrones guy, and so when I watch, I love, so I feel like
winter is coming. Winter was there in Chicago last week. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, it certainly was.
I'm trying to figure out if Deep Podesta was Littlefinger or Varys. I don't know which one it was. I don't know because he's gone now, and so now everybody is trying to be the hand of the king. So I'm trying to figure out if Andrew Berry is the hand of the king now because he's done some things in the Reach and the Vale, and he's been really, he has an army. Now listen, if you look at it, and you are Andrew Berry, if they do draft a quarterback, right? The owner said 3 wins wasn't good enough, right? 3 wins wasn't good enough and Stefanski got let go. If I'm looking at it, does that not mean that Andrew Berry, if he's retained, has to have a significant win-loss record gain in terms of what 2026 looks like if he's not going to be the next guy on the chopping block? So
I would think so.
So for me, I look at it and be like, well, look, okay, well, Shedeur Sanders is here. I kind of know what I got a little bit. I don't know if I'm for sure, but I might not be sure in 7 games, but maybe I might be sure in 14. And if he could get me 6 wins, 7 wins, and I could get some pieces and parts, maybe then if I figure out in that area, if he's not the guy, I can go ante up in 27 and get the Arch Manning that we always talk about. Is there any pressure if Andrew Berry is staying that he has to field a team and offensive line and weapons, and this team has to look markedly better if he's going to continue to keep his job if Stefanski gets fired and he's retained?
Yeah, I would agree with you. I mean, look, this is a results-driven business. So let's just, for your theory that Stefanski's gone, Berry stays. Like I said before, they need to vastly improve the offensive roster. I think the defense is really pretty good. Does he say I can build around Shedeur and get better pieces around him and try to win 6-7 games with Shedeur and that's progress and I keep my job? Or does he feel like, man, I got to add those pieces and I just still not sure if Shedeur's the guy? And ultimately, like this goes back to the decision, like who's making these decisions? Whose input is being put in? You guys would know better than me, but like who made the Shedeur draft pick? I think to this day, like is it the owner? Is it the GM? Clearly it's been led on that it wasn't Stefanski's choice. Right. Like I've heard about all that, but like I'm looking at, that rookie class is pretty dang good. If you stop after Harold Fannin Jr., like Mason Graham, Schlesinger, probably defensive rookie of the year. Judkins, I think, is your back of the future. Harold Fannin Jr., I think, will be a top 5 tight end. And then you kind of got yourself into a bit of a quarterback pickle by taking guys, right? So I would say you're going to move forward, and I would say Shedeur has clearly outpaced Dylan Gabriel and the question of who's going to be vying for that job. But look, maybe you draft Fernando Mendoza, but you still give Shedeur. I wouldn't hand him the job. I think you need to challenge him anyways. There's a competition with Shedeur. I don't know. And ultimately, I think the first question will be is who's making that decision. Did they have a hand in drafting Shedeur? Because obviously they might have some bias there. And ultimately, can they evaluate him fairly and then really sit there and say, how do we improve the team?
Ryan, one of the factors in that decision, which really hasn't been discussed much, we brought it up on this show, is that there were comments from the Browns coaching staff on Friday about what a joy it is to have Deshaun Watson back in practice, and that he's been a positive influence on this football team. He's got, an $80 million cap hit? He's not going anywhere. He's coming to camp. Well, do you tell him you have no chance to win this job? Here's your $80 million. Like, I think he has to be factored into all of this decision making too. Am I right?
I mean, as crazy as it sounds, I think you have to look at it that way. I mean, this is where the problem all begins. And so, if he's there and you're paying him, and no one's going to try to take him off your hands, would you be upset next year if it's Deshaun Watson and Shedeur and they're competing for the job? I don't know. I mean, look, like I said, I think Shedeur has shown improvement. From what I've read, Deshaun has been helpful to Shedeur at practice, on the sidelines, things like that. So there could be worse scenarios than having Deshaun Watson and Shedeur compete for your starting job. If and the big if is if you're able to use all of those picks in free agency to improve the people around them, I think you can improve your record. Now, how safe does Andrew Berry feel in our hypothetical situation? I don't know. Does it need to be 8 wins, 9 wins? I don't know if that's the answer at that point. So, but you're right. I mean, when you have a guy on the roster and he's taking up that much cap space, and unless you can get rid of him and trade him somehow, which I don't really foresee that happening, I don't think you could have a worse option than that.
Last thing real quick, Brian, because I know I need to go. Brian, for those who don't know, has the longest NFL career of any St. Ignatius player. Obviously, it's been did you know that? You had to know that, right?
I mean, we've had some great players. So, look, I've had longer careers than most people at 15 years, but it's good to know.
Who is the only other St. Ignatius player to make it a decade in the league?
Wow, there's only been one other.
My initial thought is Chris Hoban, but that may not be right.
You're right. 10 years. He did 10 years exactly.
Wow.
Excellent job.
I was going to go with former receiver Anthony Gonzalez, but I know he had some knee issues, and he actually had come up to New England at the end of his career, and so that was pretty still early on in my career. So, Hoban was
do you follow it closely enough to have an opinion on their new head coach?
Oh, yeah. Look, I was there, not to pat myself on the back, but inducted into that Hall of Fame this year and being around and obviously, watching. And you always keep up with it, right? Even though I'm here in Boston, it's a big part of my life. Drew Haddad, who was helping coach, always keeps me informed. And you can watch the games. And, so I know it was an extensive search, and Tom Kaufman's the guy. And we'll see what it takes. I mean, I think, it's so different now than when I played, because when I was a kid, you dreamed of playing for St. Ignatius because of the history there. And I think they've gotten away from that a little bit. So how do you kind of reestablish that culture, that winning mindset? And in this day and age, it's a different era of kids, right? They're on the phone, they got the Instagram, they're worried about, what my photo shoot's going to look like. You got to get back to that old school Ignatius, like, come in and just outwork everybody. I think that's what they got to do, and we'll see if he's the right guy for the job.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it
Thanks,
plays
Brian.
out. Brian,
You're
thank
awesome.
you very much.
Appreciate it.
Have a great holiday season. We'll see you soon.
Brian's awesome.
Yeah. Brian's a new
His
contributor to
insight's
UCSS, so we'll be seeing Brian a lot in 2020.
Very good.
By the way, to answer your question, I know we got to get to Super Chats, Mike, and I know you guys were talking about this, and you both felt like you can't draft a quarterback next year.
No, I think here's what I would
I didn't
say.
hear the whole segment.
I would not move up to draft a quarterback.
Well, here's the
and
thing.
I'm only drafting a quarterback if the guy I love is there when I'm picking. That's it.
To me, it's very simple. There's 3 options. If you believe Shedeur Sanders is a franchise quarterback, I don't draft a quarterback. If you're not unsure or you don't think he's a franchise quarterback and you believe Fernando Mendoza is a franchise quarterback, it's a no-brainer. Even if I have to trade up to me. Yeah. If I'm not sure if I'm not sure on Mendoza and I'm not sure on Sanders,
pass.
I would consider him maybe without trading up for him in that scenario.
So on Monday I said I would not draft a quarterback.
Yeah.
Here's what that comes from.
Yeah.
Knowing where we currently sit.
Yeah.
And knowing the teams ahead of us, one of them is going to take them. So
but they're ahead of them now. We don't know.
No. I'm assuming that all things stay the same. They may not. The Raiders could beat the Giants.
The Giants and Raiders play each other, so it won't
right. So that could, but right now, the information that I have right now, if the Browns pick 4th, and there's also an opportunity, or a possibility rather, that 5 through 10 might say, hey, we're going to move up and get them.
Yeah.
What I'm not doing is giving up draft capital to go get Fernando Mendoza.
If I'm the Browns
do that.
and I'm sure about Mendoza, again, you could never be sure, but if as the decision maker, I'm sure, and I don't believe in Shedeur Sanders, if I was that guy,
Then you go get him.
Then I would go get him.
Now,
if it's that
to
scenario.
change my statement,
Yeah.
I'm not sure he's the guy. I think
not
he's the
either,
guy.
but
I think he's the guy. But I'm not even taking into account what the Browns think of him. If I'm making the decision, I have to be 100% rock solid sure he is the guy, and I'm not there.
I'm not.
Now ask me in 5 weeks.
Right. I as of now, like I'm not educated enough on it.
Right.
Compared to guys that are doing this for a living.
Sure.
But I look at it and I'm like, I'm not convinced that any of these guys are definitely better than Shedeur.
And by the way,
if that were the case,
there are a lot of good quarterbacks that have already said they're coming back next year.
Right.
They're not entering.
But
the
if the Browns GM truly believes Fernando
Dante Moore's,
Mendoza,
I think Dante Moore's going back.
if
The
the
new
Browns
intel
GM,
is
whoever it
he's
is,
going in.
truly believes that Fernando Mendoza is a great quarterback and Shedeur, maybe you have to take him. We'll see.
I'm not sure Moore's going, and the reason is because I know Phil Knight can write checks.
Yeah, his offensive coordinator just went to Kentucky, so it all indications
see.
point
Okay,
to him coming
that's
back.
big.
When do they have to decide by?
He's got a while. There's no immediate rush.
Yeah.
So we got a bunch of Super Chats, though. Guys, Super Chats today brought to us by FanDuel. FanDuel's America's #1 sportsbook. Head over to FanDuel.com. Place your live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. First Super Chat comes from our guy, Eddie Everhart, who says, "It's my birthday. Could the panel sing me happy birthday?"
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
Eddie.
Eddie. Long time no see. Hope you have a good
We're going to
birthday.
give you a birthday present, and that birthday present is we're not going to sing.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to hear us sing.
No.
So, but we will say happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Eddie. Trizzy in the Trap says, "Mike, the stat on the line shows how bad the receivers and run game are. The receivers can't get open in 2.5 seconds and no run game, hence the numbers." Yito says Cam Robinson got dominated. Drift Dude says, "If the Browns lose out, why can't they trade down again, have 2 1s for 27, draft Mekhi Lemon and a tackle in the first this year? If Shedeur is bad, they have 2 1s and 27, and if he's good, you get Jeremiah Smith."
I wouldn't be opposed to
I
that,
saw
and I
that.
wouldn't rule that out. The Browns love doing that. By the
Browns
way,
love
just
trading
a
down.
quick monkey wrench in the whole
How's
thing
that work
is,
for him so far?
I've seen in a couple mock drafts that Reese is going #1 overall. Wow.
Yeah,
That's
the
in the no
quarterback's
trade
gonna go
mock
first.
drafts,
We
though.
know that when it's all said and done.
They tend to.
Yeah.
But in the synopsis of what I've read about him is he's a generational difference maker on defense. Now
How often
they thought last year the kid from Penn
Abdul
State,
Carter, yeah.
and he has not been. So, but
Or
I just thought I'd throw that out there. That
Miles
that could
Garrett
be a wrench.
Miles Garrett is the best football defensive player, maybe the best football player we've seen in the last 20 years.
Maybe ever.
And the Browns still made the wrong pick not taking
I
Patrick
done
Mahomes.
started doing my
Well,
evaluations.
hindsight's on that's 2020.
Right, I'm saying, the hindsight, yes.
You're right.
Tyson from Arizona State, he's different. I've been watching. He's different.
Right.
He's different, Mike.
He's different.
It's going to be an interesting draft. I can't wait to
Mike.
see it play out.
All right, Trizzy in the Trap says Bills will be the confirmation game. 30 to 32nd ranked run defense. If the Browns can run the ball, Shedeur will look good. Quinshawn more than 50 yards. Look out.
Hey man, we ain't ran
I
the
need
ball.
100.
We ain't ran the ball in weeks.
Just a
Like
track
3 weeks
mom.
ago, he had 90 yards. The
Yeah.
last 2 weeks, they've been terrible.
Yeah.
Just a track mom says G. Bush. Upgrade your phone. LOL. Bill Beck says.
Oh yeah, man, my screen is looking wild.
Yeah,
it's
it's a
a new.
mess.
It's crazy work. That iPhone, I got all kind of stuff. It cracked everything.
How the heck does she know
Bill
that?
Beck
I
says
showed him
no
Baker.
one is
Oh,
saying.
that's right.
Bill Beck, no one is saying the quarterback needs to tackle. He can show leadership by helping crowd the field. He can avoid contact, still join the posse.
Okay?
Florida
All right.
Volts, DG threw a pick and allowed that makes no
Next.
sense. Okay, next.
I know. That's a good point. I told Dylan Gabriel, under no circumstances, he threw a pick 6 against the Eagles, right?
Yeah.
And he was running out there to try to tackle him. No, get away from it. I was like, get away from him. What are you doing?
Run to the sideline.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
run the other
Next,
way.
Mike.
Casper says, let's not forget DG in the preseason threw interceptions and ran off the field without tackling the player. Alfonso
As he should.
XYZ says, why is Shedeur tackling a topic and not the positives of the game?
Well,
Next.
but here's the thing: if we only talked about positives, our show would be about 12 minutes.
Well, what positives were there? It was a terrible game.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like in other words, because
Yeah.
you'll hear that from viewers sometimes. They're like, "Wow, you guys are always so negative."
Well, when the team
Oh
stinks.
my
it's
God!
hard.
Go back and look at our show when they were 11-5 and going to the playoffs.
Yeah, right.
We were not very
They
negative.
lost 31-3.
Yeah. What
Davey
positive is
Davis. This is a great question, Davey. Says, McNuggets, how long do you let them argue over stuff before you interrupt? Just wondering, or would they not even be able to hear you? Davey, I was in their ear about 12 times during that argument saying it's time to wrap up. But when you're in the heat of the argument, it's hard to just pull back.
It is, and I would say this for Davey and the other viewers that wonder this, thinking, why does McNuggets let him go so long? He doesn't. He wraps up. Now, to your credit, you find flashpoint topics. That's how you make a good show. That was clearly a flashpoint topic. We knew it was a flashpoint.
Right.
So, good producers, whether it's news, sports, doesn't matter. Good producers recognize when you're in quality content and you let it ride.
But a lot of
and Mikey does that for the most part.
But a lot of the flashpoint topics come when you don't think they are. It was supposed to be Bull and Jay talk about,
Josh Allen.
We didn't have a lot of time on
then
that.
Then it flipped to Shedeur Sanders, and we start talking about the pressure of talking about Shedeur Sanders, and then that kind of went off. But when you have these unscripted conversations, that's just what it is.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. Sometimes organically things pop up and they're really
Sometimes
good.
the best. A couple more. Alfonso says the Chiefs have Mahomes, no running game, no receivers, and old offensive line are 6-8. The fact you have a rookie quarterback throwing for 360 yards and 4 touchdowns should have you encouraged.
That was part of my argument.
Yeah,
I didn't get to it, but that was part of my argument.
And let's just ignore the fact that they've been the most dominant team in football. They haven't one bad year.
Well, in reality, people are like, "Oh my God, this came out of nowhere." It really did.
It's been trending this way.
It's been trending this way, especially the offense.
I know. The last 2 years, they only won one Super Bowl.
I mean,
They made the Super Bowl last year, but they were not the regular Chiefs.
They were not the Chiefs,
They still
and they
made
didn't
the
win the
Super Bowl.
Newsflash.
We got a bunch more Super Chats. We're not get to them. We appreciate y'all.
What's the overtime topic? Let's tease it.
Peace. I don't